Sunil? Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Yeah. Can you share, I mean, from which company you are representing? Something
Power and
related to your
premium food, sir.
where?
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Power and premium food, sir.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Ashutosh?
Yeah, good morning. I am Ashutosh Varangaonkar from DHL Supply Chain, and I
Oh,
am
great.
heading Health and Safety and BCM for Pan India basis.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. 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 Dr. Jeevania,
Yeah. Good morning. I am
good
Dr.
morning.
Sivanya, veterinarian, presenting Milk Lane Dairy Service Private Limited.
Uh,
This is Pooja Dayal. I am from Nigeria. Uh, he has
okay.
already given both of them given the introduction on
Fine.
the company. If you want to know
Fine.
anything,
Fine.
let
Mr. Sujit, Mr. Sujit, are you there? Okay. Uh, I'm able to see two Shwetas. So if you want to introduce yourself one by one.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, Shweta, please tell me.
Yeah, this is Shweta here from
Yeah.
Proventus Agrocom. We are
Mm-hmm.
basically into dry fruit business. So we are into import as well as we are into retail.
Fine. Fine. Oh, okay, fine. So I think we should start now. So yes, just wait. So please confirm, like, is it visible? My site is visible.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
My name is Retail.
Your voice is breaking, please. Your voice is breaking, please.
One guest retail again break. I don't know. I mean, why it is breaking. Now it is audible, sir.
Yeah, now it is audible. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. So my total experience is 15 years now. As of now, 15 years. Basically, I am masters in total quality management from University of Lucknow, and I'm a BRC issue 8 lead auditor trainer. Uh, right. So this is basically brief introduction about me. So we'll start with the. So we are here for food safety standard course. This is called FoSTaC, which mainly comprises of Schedule 4, right? So one by one, we'll see how it goes on. So parallelly, we'll also discuss challenge facing some challenges. Meanwhile, like working with your organization. So we'll discuss that as also. So that would be value added for us, right? So this is basically where are we right now. So this is the fast track overall how it looks like. So what kind of training they are having for special for SRF resources for basic for advanced. So we are right now here in advanced training, right? Storage and distribution, correct? So this is basically food safety display board. So every retail and distribution, right? So retail and distribution has to display this kind of board, food safety display board. This is mandatory requirement now. So why it is mandatory? Because there are few golden rules which already they have already mentioned that there are 10 these 10 golden rules. So one by one, if you go into these are the basic one which a facility should have, and this is the basically for customer, right? If something like related to that maybe okay, if one of the retail maybe something like find these 10 guidelines which are basic in nature, so if they can come time they can ask for some certain improvements. So it is a kind of channel which FSSI has given to us so that anyone means any kind of any sort of customer can reach and discuss and close it immediately with FSSAI panel that puts at their company. So this is the only ground rule for this particular food safety display. In that there are hygiene codes. First of all, like if you'll see, so right, this is basically for retail store I'm talking about. So hygiene rules are like keep counter and rack. This is basic. I mean, racks should be clean, premises should be clean, pest free, rodent free, right? So we need to only sell FSSAI licensed product. Do not sell any spoiled food. So like that, there are few guidelines which we need to take care of. So this is the mandatory guideline now. So we can take it from the website and get it done, right? Right. So, I mean, probably we'll see in the next slide that registration and licenses. There are two things which company, I mean, which PPT or FSA talks about. So, license, both issuing authority or FSSAI only, both comes under Ministry of Health, Family Welfare Association, the Government of India only. So, the only we would say license central licensing authority wherever it is applicable. Registration is mainly is meant for petty business operator, right? So local shops, local we call as a petty business operator. So we just give it to the FSA, just give it to registration. They are not license holder, right? So
Your voice is breaking again.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing, not clearly audible. Lot of crack during your.
We are missing out the important words in between, so it becomes difficult for us to really comprehend them.
right, one second. So is it audible now? Yeah, is it audible, sir?
Yeah, it is better now.
Okay, fine.
It is very much.
Very, thank you, thank you. So I'm just talking about the registration and license. What is the difference between these two terminology? Because and in next slides, next few slides, we'll be seeing this registration and licenses very frequently, right? So in licenses, like issuing authority, both the issuing both for both the cases, licensing issuing authority would be FSCC only. So I'm just talking about the differences. What are the differences? So for licenses, FSCI gives to licenses to those ventures, to those facilities wherever their turnover is more than 12 lakhs, right? Otherwise it will be a registration kind of thing, right? So I mean, just to understand, license registration is basically for petty business operator. This is basic, clear, precise idea. So wherever you will just find this petty business operator, so we need to check, we need to ensure that whether the registration is there or not. So this is basically just for your information, nothing related to that. So
So
now,
which means for a
yeah,
small operators, it will be only a
yes.
registration. There will be no separate certificate being issued.
Correct,
Am I right?
correct.
Okay,
Yes.
fine.
So,
Thank you.
so only thing is that like their annual turnover should not be 12 more than 12 lakh. So if it is less than that, then yes, they have to go for registration only. So
So
basic
only
simple
that,
process.
so
Yeah.
that registration number itself is more than sufficient for them to carry out their operations.
Yes, definitely. So we need to
If
carry. Yes, we need to carry our registration and licenses with the facility only, just to showcase that they are approved one. So similar to like licenses, driving license,
okay,
thing like that.
fine,
Yes,
fine,
it's a
thank
similar.
you.
Yeah. So here we'll start our presentation. So we'll take food safety introduction. We'll talk about general food safety schedule 4, which is very important. So in schedule within schedule 4 there are part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. There are different categories which differentiate that category itself. I mean, which all establishment you are into. So we are basically into part 2 mainly. We'll focus on this part and part 4 probably. So because all we are the licenses holder, right? So we are talking about licenses holder more. We also talk about meat and meat product units. Right. So this is basic introduction to food safety. I think I'm sure you all are aware of it now. I mean, your PhD holders, doctorate, and all that. So I mean, so much of experience you have. So any idea? I mean, anyone can just wanted to describe what is food safety. Already it's mentioned over there, but I want more precise, practical exposure. So what is food safety? Anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, most probably food should be consumable, and after consumption, it should not create any adverse effect to the human
Mm-hmm.
being.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so the basically it's a fresh one and hygienic food.
Okay. So may I mean which representing, sir? Which type of
I,
organization?
I yeah, I'm from DHL supply chain. It's
Okay,
a,
okay, okay, okay. Got it,
logistics.
got it, got it, got it. So in your area of concern, what kind of, how you will define the food safety? What are the things that which you defines directly food safety? Because food safety is a broader aspect now. There are so many things
Yeah,
in food safety. Yes.
yeah. So specifically for storing and transportation is the major activity we are providing and the services we are providing.
Mm-hmm.
So during
Mm-hmm.
storage, the proper storage condition, if any required cold storage requirement or
Okay.
such type of
Okay.
specific
Mm-hmm.
requirement,
Correct.
then the same arrangement we have to provide during the transportation. Also, the same atmosphere we need to maintain during the transportation and everything.
Perfect.
So this
Perfect,
is
sir.
the
Perfect.
main focus area for food safety.
Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely. So here, like terminology, it says food safety means assurance that food is acceptable. So
Yeah.
mine means this is very important. Acceptable. So why we are saying acceptable? Because there are certain guidelines which FCCI which we have adopted from Codex, which we have adopted from different set of certification systems requirements. So every food has its own intended use. We can't say like okay, food means okay, fine. It has to be consumed like this only. There are certain guidelines. Okay, uh, we have been discussed. I mean, I'm not discussing right now, but we have been knowing since I mean long that HACCP system. My voice is audible now. Anyone
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just confirm? Okay, fine.
good.
So HACCP, we are talking about HACCP system, HACCP implementation. So while we conduct this HACCP system for a particular process, rather, so we talk about what kind of product that we are going to cover. So for that, we also try to find out the intended use in describing the pure product basically. So while describing the product, we need to take care of that as well. Like if we'll talk about a particular product like pizza seasoning, rather, it's a basic example. So pizza seasoning is basically is meant for garnishing or maybe you know topping some some kind of snacks or something like that. So sometimes people consume it directly, which is not intended, right? So we have to give it very clear precise that it has to be consumed on what I mean what type, what I mean how we'll consume it, right? Rather it requires any boiling, it requires any heating temperature, it requires any cooling, something like that. So we have to describe those features. So in transport, yes, as you said very correctly, that it requires like before giving to the your customer next part. So we'll have to take care of that temperature part basically if required. Otherwise it's ambient temperature, fine. So then we need to take care of simple basic thing that freshness has to be maintained, FIFO has to be followed, allergen should be properly taken care of. So these kind of thing has to be taken care of, right? How we're going to manage this food safety management system, right? So managing the system, managing the entire thing, because alone we cannot say like food safety, okay, fine, we have just developed entire thing will be covered. No, we have to define the system one by one process, which probably in a company everyone is responsibility. It's a people's responsibility, whoever is working over there. So managing the entire show, probably it requires good hygienic practices, then obviously hazard analysis, identification of control critical control points, and the review annually or 6 monthly, whichever is required. No, such practices may be specified by the regulation. Yes, regulation is specified. As a food business operator, as a food business owner, we need to take care of. So managing the system, it's called food safety management system, which right now we have so many systems like ISO 22000. Now probably ISO 22000 plus PAS 220 is there. So we call as a FSSC. Now FSSC has another version, is volume 5. So there are so many standards in BRC. There are separate standards, there are separate guidelines. So everyone has taken their own responsibility, define the system, define the management system, like how we should take care of our food, or maybe food business, right, from scratch to end of the consumption, till consumption, right? So anyone join in meanwhile? Okay. So this is a new system which has implemented now. I mean, I think 9 state has covered. So few more will be covered within a time frame of 30th or maybe probably October. So all system will comes under this FoSTaC registration. Everything will be covered in that. So I'm not going into that. You will can get it connected through website, right? So these are the few basic documents which required for licensing, and while we are going for licensing, state or central maybe, you all must be aware of it because you all are so much of experience, so you must have faced this thing, right? So any idea anyone can share that while probably applying for licenses, do we require a flow diagram of your process? Anyone can
Not
tell me.
always. Not
Okay.
always,
Okay.
unless there is a manufacturing process or packaging or
Fine.
repackaging involved.
Fine. Fine. So it is not required now. So do we define any PRP, CCP while applying for the licenses? Some kind of system which we have generated meanwhile, just to ensure that yes, food safety system is implemented over there.
Yes, very much, because the basic safety plan or your recall plan, if that is in place and if that can
Mhm.
be uploaded at the time of
Mm.
application, that
Okay.
definitely helps in speeding up the matter.
Okay. So, I mean, my small suggestion, like whenever we are applying for this, not registration exactly, licenses, maybe state or this central. So probably we should give a flow chart, which I have recommended to FSSI many times, but I'm not sure because few people are saying it is required, people are saying not required. So, but it is there. I mean, they are requiring this kind of process flow chart wherein we need to incorporate where what all system, what all checkpoints which we have given to that process particularly, right? So this is my only recommendation. Again, we have to go by this by law only. So whatever, and local authority, whoever is giving the briefing and all that.
But there's
So yeah, please sir.
there's no separate slot for uploading this flow charts. What we have got is only the manufacturing part. Only there we have
Uh-huh.
got the flow chart and your machinery parts that have to be uploaded.
Okay.
So there's
Okay.
no
So
separate work for flow
yeah.
Basically,
charts.
actually, they are asking for the layout which is
Yes.
available. If I am getting license for manufacturing, I need to upload the layout of my
Yes. Yes.
factory or
Definitely.
whatever the manufacturing
Hmm.
area.
Hmm.
So flow
Absolutely,
chart, we
absolutely.
actually there is no option of
There's
chart
no
as you
option.
are telling. Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. Like I have discussed many times, because see, like we people are discussing, because see, like in retail distribution, there are few and panel trainers. So sometimes we had a just discussion with their team, I mean FSSI team. So we have asked and asked, to incorporate this thing as well. Okay, fine. So this is basically now I'm talking about introduction part, right? Introduction of food safety. So wherever like food safety comes in, so automatically, I mean, it's automatic system now because we are so much of discussing this food safety and all that. So automatically, like some biological, chemical, physical terminology will automatically come on. So may I know, I mean, which all comes under physical, this thing, physical hazard? What kind of physical hazard which we are facing? I mean, day-to-day routine basis. I'm not going to detail this, definition wise. I just wanted to discuss in brief, in detail, right? So, what kind of physical contamination or physical hazard which you are facing in your territory, in your premises? Anyone can tell. I mean, Mr. Anmol is there. I mean, I'm just looking at him. Mr. Anmol, are you there? Yeah, Mr. Anmol. Miss Garima Khanna is there? Miss Garima, am I audible now?
Yes,
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 very
yes,
much.
yes, very
Okay.
well.
So my question, I'm just picking few names. Okay, fine, no problem. Mr. Saurabh is there? Okay, I think I'm okay. Anyone want to, anybody want to detail? I mean, few things if you want to discuss. What sort of
Yeah,
physical contamination, physical are you facing right now? Or
yeah,
maybe,
physical contamination means I think if there is if the product is moisture sensitive and if there is a moisture or water body present nearby, so such type of uh, available non-required things also can create means that
could be broader
food
aspect,
product.
but not
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, so could be broader aspect. Yes, we know, but not the exact. I mean, which we are looking for. So,
okay.
anyone want to share anything regarding physical contamination, physical hazard?
A person might not be medically fit in sense they might be having certain itches or might be injured
Mm-hmm.
and then they're involved in packaging of material. So that is
Mm-hmm.
one of the physical contamination that I foresee.
Mm,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, physical hazards means
I mean, can you just tell your name? I mean, it's not showing. Oh, okay, Vijender Singh,
my,
right?
my
Yeah,
my
please tell
name is
me. Yeah,
yeah.
Vijender ji.
Physical hazards means like uh, unwanted material in food item like part of pin and part of stones like
So
this.
may I know which company you are in, like right now? Which kind of what kind of product you are handling right now?
Uh, we are importing Korean noodles,
Fine. So you are importing.
especially Korean food.
So what is the mode of importing? Like once you received at port, so from port till your premises. So how it is coming to your, your maybe food area, or your maybe your storage. What is coming through vehicle only?
Yeah,
Trucks. Okay.
yeah, by trucks.
Your okay. Your noodles in boardwalk.
Yes, yes, yes. Packed in cartons.
Okay, fine. So okay, fine. Someone has messaged me. Rather,
Hello.
we can talk upon. Yes, yes. So I mean, someone has given some message. Okay, fine. Rather, I mean, messaging we can talk upon. We can discuss right now. Okay. Hey, how's there? Okay. So Vijender ji, hello.
ऑडियो कहाँ चला गया
Okay, I think he's busy in some.
आवाज क्यों नहीं आ रही
Okay, fine. So I'm just explaining the physical contamination. While receiving at your premises, maybe a storage area, maybe some food premises. So there are high chances of that, uh, as he said, like uh, nails, something, object like wooden, could be wooden. Yes, through pallet it may come to
ये कम आ रही है
your
आवाज
product.
आवाज तो आ रही है लेकिन
I think yes.
ये
Please mute yourself, Vijender ji. Mr. Vijender. I think it's not less actually. Okay.
ये आवाज को क्या हो गया
Hello, Vijender ji. Hello.
इसमें क्या है?
Okay, coming back to the point, physical contamination. So probably while we receive that any kind of product or process, I mean something wherein like CBB or which covers under corrugated board box, sometimes gunny bags, some this HDPE bags. So what happened, like through channel could be anything, you pallet, something which already there present in your vehicle, which you have not checked, loading or something like unloading rather. So that can be possible. It may directly come to your product, it may directly contact with your product, right? So if you're not checking it, if you're not screening it further, so it may come down and it may go into your product. So that could be your physical contamination for this scenario. Means if you're talking about this retail and distribution rather. So probably in retail there are so many others, like if you're not handling any pest activities, right? It is not proper at your premises and your product is exposed somewhere while maybe transportation, maybe some like I'm just giving you one example. This is basic actually. So while we receive any factory or maybe any manufacturing premises, which whenever they are receiving any product, right? So there's a process called QC check, quality control check, right? So while quality control check process is there, they need to dig out certain sample basis the sampling plan. They just find out the gunny bags or maybe cartons. So for that reason they just open it, or maybe sometimes they use a special sampling tool, which they just dig it inside that bag and take out the samples. So most of the see, like many times I have personally seen that that particular hole or area or maybe bag which is opened for a particular reason for QC sampling, it is not again sealed. It is open, and how long it will be open, not sure. So there are possibility that pest or maybe some pest dropping, maybe rodent hair, something like that, it may go into the product, which create nuisance in future. So this is very much important that whenever we are going for this such kind of sampling or something like that, so we need to take care of extra precaution. We need to extra precaution for this, that this has to be segregated, properly taken care of. If it cannot be resealed, then it has to be separately kept in a separate location, and it has to be here and precisely marked. So rest, I mean physical could be your nails, your any metal object, any wooden object that may go into the process or product directly, right? So next would be chemical hazard. That is very much important for our scenarios wherein like we are involved. So any guesses, anything? I mean, if you want to share what kind of chemical hazard you are facing or you face sometime.
The pesticides, uses of pesticides and all, if there is a content are also present while final consumption point of time, so it will
So
be a
I mean,
chemical.
one question. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. So one question: how it is coming directly to your contact with your product? So suppose if you are receiving the material in HDP bag or some CBB corrugated board box, since we are, I mean, assuming that we are handling only retail and distribution part, that's it, right? We are not opening it, we are not processing anything. We are just receiving the things and transferring to the next channel, right? So meanwhile, like how it comes, how it is important that we need to, I mean, chemical, as you're saying that pesticides. So I mean, how it interact with your product directly?
Most probably during process, if the entire cleaning
Mm-hmm.
process requirement is not followed for that
Mm-hmm.
particular food product, then
Okay.
it will remain in that particular food products, and it will directly come to the end users.
So you mean to say that pest, if whenever pest controller comes in, visiting your premises, so they are spraying across the storage area, right? Is
Yeah,
it so?
actually, such type of activities is not conducted at our location, but in some grain areas, fumigation and other
Mm-hmm.
pesticide activities are done over there. And
Mm-hmm.
the same thing, if is it is contaminated, that contaminated food is directly go to that particular end user, then that food contamination of
Okay.
chemical will be there.
Okay. Okay. So you have taken this fumigation, right? So by which mean, I mean, how you are conducting this? What kind of, fumigant you are using? What is that
Uh,
fumigant which you are using?
at present, we are not, because we are not directly dealing with grains and all these things. Mostly
Okay.
fumigation is
Okay.
done for
Okay.
grains.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The
All right.
fumigation is primarily being done for the export consignment because the containers have to be fumigated before
Fine.
the product is
Fine.
being uploaded into
Fine.
the containers.
Fine. Fine. Okay. Okay, and there is a degassing process is involved. So, I mean, anyhow, it is not, getting directly contacting your product. So, but in that case, like if you are storing any grain or something like that, so wherever fumigation is applicable, my only thing is that wherever fumigation is involved, so there are two things. One is MBR. So for export reason, yes, we can go for MBR, but ALP is much more, viable or rather acceptable within the Indian scenario, maybe in our scenario. So aluminum phosphide, which is widely being used, and it is as approved rather. So anyone can just tell if they are facing any kind of chemical contamination through this ALP aluminum phosphide, and so that we can discuss in detailed how it has to be run through, how pest control should take care of, because to avoid this chemical contamination. Anyone just wanted to share anything regarding fumigation? I'm coming to the back to this chemical contamination only. So that is what like I'm just wanted to share. I want to just you know detail discussion for this. So anybody want to share anything regarding fumigation?
Only we know only that, because this is fumigation is mostly utilized for the grains storage, but
Hmm.
unfortunately we don't know, because we are not storing grains and other
Okay, fine.
uh, products.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So fumigation is mostly, as I mean, probably it is done by the ALP, and the requirement is that something like that. So we need to be, we need to have one dedicated area for that, because see, after once we'll start fumigation, so it will create certain, certain poisonous gas rather, I would say. So it is poisonous in nature, so we should not interact meanwhile. So there's a process of 5 days, completely 5 days of process, and next, I mean, 3 to 4 days is required for degassing. I mean, we allowed just that gas which interrupted, which you know encountered entire this range, so we just it just goes out. So ALP, as I said, I mentioned, so small pouches are there of 3 gram per 9 gram per ton is the requirement which government has facilitated with to us. So 9 gram per ton is a requirement which you can, which is allowed actually. So meanwhile, what happened? So many of grain manufacture, grain storage area have seen, personally seen that they just rapture that gunny bags. They just make small holes in that. Why? Because I normally ask people, I would normally ask, and auditor maybe normally ask, why you're doing this. So they said like, sir, so that that penetration will go into deeper and deeper, and it just kills out your weevils infestation, whatever it is present. So I thought, okay, fine. So many incidents, like I have noticed personally, that while uh, depositing those small pouches of ALP, so sometimes what happen, like it, you know after after entire process, that I mean small pouches will be, it becomes ash, it converts to ash, right? So there are high chances if we are not recollecting our those bags which we have placed inside within the gunny bags or somewhere nearby as per the protocol. So there are high chances that it may go into the process directly, because if you're not recalling that okay this much pouches we have uh, provided to that particular area, and we have not recalled, we have not taken it out, so probably there are chances that it may go into your product, so that becomes chemical contamination. Yes, are you getting my point? Yeah.
Yeah, very well.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I mean this could be a chemical. Then next as okay, as you said, like pesticide. So probably we are allowing pest controller to, visit the site. So they are just going, and by chance, not by chance, by mistake, it's there in blood actually. So they just start, pumping their equipment and flow all the pesticide nearby. So we only ask for the skirting level, this thing spray. But what is their intention? They want to, restrict the pest within that premises. So for that reason they just spray it completely. So chemical contamination could occur, it may happen any point of time. So sometimes what happen, like it may go directly, because sprays it's not automatic, it's all it's man held basically. So if by any chance, if and all, it goes to your product directly, I mean some what droplets or something like that, it just sprayed over there your grains, so it contaminate your product. And if you'll find out, and if you'll send that those product to your laboratory, it will give you the traces of this, so same. So by that mean, like it will be contaminated. Fine. So while uh, you know processing or maybe procuring such kind of things, we need to take care of extra precautious. Many of good industries, I would say, they have a process, they are doing QC check properly and taking extra precaution, and also they are also sending the sample of the entire lot. Means they are just picking sample, maybe 10% somewhere, so just send to the external laboratory for these reason only, so that we are sure, they can be assured that okay, this is not contaminated, right? One thing which I just wanted to add, that allergen part, which although I have taken separately, but it's a part of chemical contamination only, right? So chemical contamination, allergen, any idea what is allergen? Anyone want to share? Because it's a normal, common phenomena now. Allergens. Anybody?
So
It
allergens are the substance which causes allergic reaction when consumed.
Okay, okay, okay. Like, for example, you face somewhere like any kind of allergen, or maybe we are allergic to something. Like, if you want to share, I mean, it's up to you again.
No,
like
sir, I'm
common
not
allergy will be
specifically allergic to any food substance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, fine.
yes.
So, you are, I mean, ma'am, which organization or maybe which kind of category you are handling right now?
So I'm right now handling quality assurance. I'm in a quality assurance department.
Okay.
So we handle a documentation work. Also, we have a small manufacturing unit,
So, what kind
which
of
is
product you are handling
yeah.
right now? What kind of product is this? I mean, you are handling?
We are into imports.
Oh, great, great.
Yes,
So,
yeah, we get the
while
imported product.
okay,
Yeah.
so while importing the product, okay, so how you are ensuring that allergen is taken care by, I mean, by them only, or maybe you are taking care of, this allergen part?
We
Because you are
also
not
have
opening,
a
I'm
allergy.
sure you are not opening anything, any carton
No,
or
sir.
any
No, sir. No,
bags.
sir. So while we get the product here, we verify whether the label mentions allergens,
Okay.
declaration, and
Hmm.
also we have a allergen management system here. So we like ensure that the products are kept separated
Where?
from
I mean, okay, if you're saying separated, so okay, I'm sure you're receiving uh, much of different category of product in a same lorry,
Yes, sir.
same vehicle.
Yes, sir.
So how you are
Yeah.
ensuring that it is not contaminated or it's not
No, so we are widely distributed into almonds. So when we
fine,
receive the
fine.
imported, yeah, we also import almonds. So when we receive the imported almond, so
Hmm.
in one vehicle there are only almonds.
Okay, great, great. That
Yeah,
is what
we
I
don't
just
keep
want to leave here.
two different, yes, two different products. So when we
Hmm.
receive, so we ensure that in one vehicle we get only the allergen product. So it does not cannot cause cross contamination or something like that.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So fine. So anybody else, like anybody wants to share any maybe? Ma'am, please mute yourself. Whosoever is talking background. Who is Penal More? Penal is there? Penal? Is Penal or Pinal? I'm not sure. I mean, sorry. Okay. So allergen, as rightly said, like which creates some allergen or maybe allergic reaction to your body, right? So I mean, I'm including myself as well. Like we Indian as a very liberal in this allergen. So many of times, like we are facing this allergen, we are having allergic reactions, but we are not discussing or talking about this kind of things because we are not sure that is it allergic or is something like that just because of temperature, seasonal changes. Some rashes are there, something like sometimes we face inhaling or exhaling sometimes oxygen. So inhaling oxygen. So sometimes we face, but we never know, like we don't know clearly, we are not sure that whether we are having this kind of problem or not, but it is very common now. Many people are allergic to milk. So there's a lactose-free milk which has come up now. So widely is being used for by the you know adults normally. Soya is another is allergen. So as madam said, like it's by like if you're not opening any product, any kind of product, if you're not processing, because we are into sales, I mean retail and distribution. So we are not opening any kind of. So we are more into label. Very. So while we receive, we should ensure that it has come in a same lorry in a, I mean separate lorry is being given to the allergen product. If not, then there should be some separation, clear cut. It has to be separated. If not, then in many instances I have seen that those allergen products, which may be very few numbers sometimes, so we can cover it with the help of tarpaulin within that lorry itself. So that is also one of the thing. But yes, we need to mind that it should not cover, I mean, long distance, because while receiving from long distance, your product will become humid sometimes, because transferring or covering that interstate, there are temperature changes. So it happens that it may create weevil infestation somewhere, right? Why I've said weevil infestation? Are you getting my point or not? Hello, are you with me?
Yeah, yeah,
Very much.
Okay. So
very
so
good.
I'm saying while transferring your material from one state to another state, maybe it takes 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Sometimes it takes 5 to 7 days time, right? So probably what I have seen, like when vehicles start from one place and it reaches to second place. So sometimes what happened, like we have seen that okay, initially it was not there. Some weevil infestation was not present over there, but later on when I opened that bag after let's 10 days or 15 days, so probably I have seen that weevil infestation are present very much. So how come it is possible that initially it was not present and later on it is found very much? Are you getting my point? I said like I started from Jammu and Kashmir, right? And I have to go to Kerala maybe, right? So it takes around 5 to 7 days, maybe sometime 10 days, more than that. So when I started, I have not seen any weevil infestation in my bags or something, whichever user handling grain something. And once I opened that bag, I found that there is a weevil infestation. Maybe very less in number, but yes, if it is present, then present. So how come it is possible? because we have done so much precaution. We have done, everything. Fumigation has done something, we have, which is very much appropriate that we have done. We have done your part, but again, it has arises during frustration. You have seen that it is arising.
Maybe because of change of weather, because you are traveling
Fine.
from one place to
Mm-hmm.
another place, so
Mm-hmm.
there will be a change in temperature, and maybe because of
Humidity.
that.
Humidity. Yes. So why I'm highlighting this point, because see, like, whenever we are going for a fumigation, so pest controller or fumigator, they're not very much clear about that process. Sometimes it happens. Some companies very good actually. They are detailing, they are describing all the things. But please make sure that if they are saying that, boss or maybe sir or maybe madam, I will be giving this ALP solution, which is very much good in that, but doesn't mean that it will not create any kind of nuisance, that is weevil infestation. See, like, ALP is having only larvicidal, it's not having larvicidal effect. Okay, so probably if in,
Sorry to interrupt you, but I
yeah,
would like to add one point because
yeah,
we have
please,
faced
please.
this problem. We have done the fumigation and everything for our dates. As
Hmm.
I'm telling you, we are into dry fruit. So
Hmm.
after doing all this, because of the weather, sometimes we are getting
Hmm.
work. After doing all the precautions, we have done whatever the possibilities we can do. But again, we are facing this problem.
Okay, so I mean, can you just tell me that what kind of packaging material, which is being used to pack that almond? If you are importing it, so what kind of baggage or maybe packaging material you are using? How it is
Actually, it
being
is
packed?
coming in shell. Basically, when we are importing almond, it is coming in shells, and
Mm-hmm.
we are
Mm-hmm.
importing an entire container.
No, no, I'm talking about rather I'm asking for packaging material. Like, it is covered in LDP bag, HDP bag, or it's a both combination of both.
Yeah, it's a combination of both.
Okay, and you are conducting this fumigation, right?
Yeah,
So, how it is happening? I mean, so fumigator, they just come and they start fumigation, right? Okay.
yeah.
Have you ever checked
We
that?
are
Okay,
doing lab test as well.
okay, fine. So, have you ever checked that that fumigant, whichever
Hmm.
you are using, so gas is coming in contact with your product? It is going inside your bags.
No.
Okay, fine. So this time, just ensure, just make sure.
The fumigation, I mean, they are doing in a different area, so
Mhm.
there nobody is allowed to go.
Yes, that is
So,
what I'm saying. Like, because it's a poisonous gas is coming out, so degassing takes another 2 3 days time. So
hmm.
it's very very hazardous actually. So we
Yeah.
should not connect or contact him within. But somebody has to take that this opportunity and go
Hmm.
inside and check whether it
Hmm.
is touching your product or not. Because see,
Okay.
if it is not interrupting in your bag, because
Hmm.
bag is somehow which is sealed from appropriately from all the areas.
Ha.
So if we're not going inside or not touching that part,
Hmm.
because superficially it is on surface only, so but whichever gas is created somehow,
Ha.
so
Ha.
it is on superficial only. It is not going inside. It's not
Okay.
touching your. So by any mean, it is not going to take any kind of changes, or it's not basically allow solve your purpose. So
Okay.
just
Hmm.
ask your fumigator. So how
Hmm.
it is? I mean, just ask. Okay, we are doing this and that. So will it be okay that packaging material is your packaging material allows, or maybe migration is taking place or not? So
Okay.
let him ask, let them ask, just ask him. So
Hmm.
just ask like whether migration is happening or not. Your gas
Okay.
migration is happening. If it is not happening, then there's no use of having this fumigation. We are wasting our money actually,
Okay.
right?
Fine. Yeah.
Probably we'll have to sometimes what happen, many of industry importer mainly, they just
Hmm.
transfer the whole container or maybe that whole bag into that gunny bags is maybe PVC kind of thing, or maybe some good jute bags, right?
Okay.
And they just do this exercise, they just conduct the exercise. So
Okay.
that will solve your purpose, because in that manner, like, gas will be created and it will touch your product rather. So like it will give you, the entire thing. I mean, your weevil infestation will be
Mm-hmm.
almost vanished. It will be done.
Okay,
Oh,
fine.
so okay, fine. Coming back to the main point, because see, fumigator which they are giving, or maybe fumigant, it is not having ovicidal, larvicidal impact. This is for sometimes ovicidal, sometimes it's for weevils only. So why I'm saying, because if you are coming, I mean, starting from the Jammu and Kashmir and going to this Kerala and open the bag and found weevil infestation are present, so it is but obvious. So for that reason only, we just check the temperature, we just control the temperature while transportation. Because see, ultimately humidity, if humidity is on higher side or temperature is on higher side or it frequently changes, it allows larvae to develop. It will become, I mean, adult sometimes after few days. So that's the only reason I'm just digging out this point. Hope I'm you are I mean, getting my point, which I'm trying to highlight.
Yeah, so in short, all your food products should be properly connected with the fumigation agent,
it should it
and
should
then
it
it
should
will
connect.
vanish. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it should
definitely.
connect your,
Yeah,
yeah, it should connect your product actually.
yeah,
If
definitely.
your
Yeah,
your
then the
your
purpose will
packaging
solve.
material, yes, if your packaging material is creating some barrier, and
Hmm.
the gas is
So
not
no use.
migrating inside, there's no use
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, it's a wastage
So
of money. Yeah,
yes, so
definitely.
for that reason sometimes what happen, like for checking or maybe verification or maybe validate, because see, like we all are the food safety people, we all are from QA only. So we know that, I mean, if we have to validate something, so for fumigation, just ask your this fumigator, whosoever is there, just ask that how will validate whether it is solving our purpose or not. If it's having, fine. If it's not having, then ask. Just keep one small vial. There's one small vial, like vial is very much available in the market. So they have multiple ports. That vial, it's a small one, 3 to 4 inches height, hardly. So we just put in the live weevils inside, right? And just close the lid, and we just keep it inside the bag, mid of the bag maybe sometimes, and they just conduct the fumigation, right? So after fumigation conducted, completed, gas degassing, complete thing, we just take out those vials, small vials, we rather we should call it. So if the weevil is found dead, yes, your this thing is validated, yes, it is okay, fine, perfectly fine. If it is not, then yes, there's no use, we should change, or we should uh, try different mode of action. As I discussed, like many of them, I mean, I have seen personally, because I've suggested sometimes that we should transfer the metal into gunny, because another, it is creating nuisance sometimes, because transferring to another bag, it will again adding process. So adding process sometimes management doesn't allow actually. Manpower is required. Sometimes if we are going for automation, some hopper or some conveyors will be required, some electricity will be required. So people are not bothering about, they're just doing it. And sometimes what happen, like people are just making small holes in the bag itself, and they just conduct this exercise. But what happens later on, because if we are not using those bags uh, immediately or maybe within the week time, so it will allow moisture to come interact with your product. Automatically it will create nuisance again. So both the cases we have to be extra precautious, right? So I'm sure, I think chemical part is okay done. One example I just wanted to take in chemical hazard, because we need to understand that chemical hazard, how it comes, how to interrupt your product, right? I'm taking one example from your kitchen. May I take your one example from your kitchen? Am I allowed? Am I allowed?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, fine. So there are two different, or maybe three different kind of, maybe four different kind of chemical, which are readily available and which we are using in the house, right? So one is, I'm taking just a name, just for a name, I mean, right? So one is Harpic, right? And another one is which we are using for dishwashing, Vim and all that. So okay, but both the purpose, in both case the purpose is same. What is the purpose? Cleaning, right? In both the cases, Harpic also done the cleaning, doing the cleaning part, and Vim liquid is also doing the cleaning part. So if you allow, can we use Harpic for cleaning our, dishwash, as a dishwasher?
No.
Why?
because this is what I think. I think it has a chemicals which will,
So both are the chemicals. Both are
but
Yeah,
chemicals.
it's a phenolic content, and it's very dangerous for the health.
yeah, for health.
Such type of
Okay. Okay. Then sometimes like toilet is also in come in contact with your. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just taking example. It's coming in contact with your body. So I mean, yes, if you are saying hazardous, and it should create some nuisance because within the daytime we are using many times. So I mean, okay. Anything want to share? Anything? I mean, okay, fine. Your point is valid. Fine. I'm accepting it. Some more.
even though our dishwasher is also hazardous because
Hmm?
there is a alkaline contents are there, but
Yes. Yes. Yes.
we
Yes.
have to wash properly. If
Hmm?
if there is some remaining part is there and in the same dish, if we are eating something,
Hmm?
so that
Hmm?
could not be also be safer for the health point of view.
So means you mean to say like both the cases, one thing is sure that caustic is being used,
Yes, yes.
caustic soda
Because
rather.
mostly it's a disinfectant, and that's why the phenolic and alkaline product has been used for
Okay.
the uh, germs, because basically these products had made for the disinfection point of view.
Yes, you are saying very correct that it is made because ad advertisement is showing that it is meant for this thing, it is meant for that thing, right? So
Yeah.
advertisement is something like which we have which defines that where to use, what to use, and when to use, right? So I would take it like this. Guys, I want more and more interaction. If somebody, I mean, anyone else want to share anything, because I have seen two, three, four
So
people,
I,
not more than that.
sir, I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
one question.
Yes, yes, yes.
In
Question, proper question.
packaging,
Okay, okay.
in chemical hazard, I have a question. In packaging,
Hmm.
if we are using a non-food grade package, or is there is
I'm
this
coming.
migration
I'll
from?
come to your point. I'll come to your point. But before
Yes,
that,
sir.
Mr. Sujit, can you speak out whatever you are, because I'm not going into chat box. Mr. Sujit, sir, Sujit, sir, my microphone is okay. Fine, fine, fine. No problem. No, this microphone is not working. Fine, no problem. Anyone else want to share any something related to that? Because I have taken one example, which I think it will solve entire purpose. It will give you complete idea. Even if a child is wanted to, we need to make him understand. So we'll connect with. So right, okay. So as I said, like both the things, as you all said very correctly, everything is acceptable. But right, the only thing is that small thing is that like concentration may vary because in cleaning of bathroom or some toilet area particularly, so more concentration is required. But if we talk about the phenolic content, everything will be acceptable. I've taken your point, but the rest of I mean, just to understand that concentration matters. Why I'm saying, because many times we just allow sometimes pest controller, sometime some agency who is in doing housekeeping work. Times we are also allowing housekeeping to provide this hand washing chemical to your premises, where like you just round and round clock, I mean day to evening, you just go for hand washing and you're thinking like that you are okay doing good practices. Yes, it is good practices, but if concentration is not approved, it's not appropriate, then it is of no use. You're somehow inhaling or maybe consuming these chemical activities within your body, and it's all carcinogenic. It's all carcinogenic, right? So, I mean, okay, I'm not going to detail. So, concentration is one key area, one keyword that is much very validated. So, we should take care of, right? Right. Allergen, fine. So, I think you are clear about this. Then biological hazard. Biological hazard is clearly in our case is a weevil infestation sometimes mold growth, right? So, if it is seen, it is visible. Yes, we need to be extra precautious. Time temperature control is required, right? So, moving forward, we have taken so much of time in this. So this is all.
One
Yes.
question only
Yeah,
related to
please.
our operational. There is
Hmm.
a biological hazard due to the pigeon availability in the storage area.
Hmm.
So for that, we are also looking so many things. Do you have any appropriate solution for pigeons?
So this
Because
for
in
this
storage
there.
area, this is the
Yes,
major
yes,
biological
yes,
hazard. I
yes,
think
yes.
you have already gone through.
So I think
Do
for
you
that
have any
reason,
good
I mean,
solution?
solution I'm not having, but yes, I can think of, because a pigeon is some, creating nuisance. It
Yes.
allows other pests to, come inside and, harborage into your area. So I'm
Yes.
not sure, because we can discuss separately. Can we discuss
No
separately?
issue. No issue. No
Okay,
issue.
so I'll
Okay.
drop my
Go ahead.
number, so we'll discuss later on. Okay, so because pigeon is something which very very important, and is very risky and very costly affair, right?
Yes.
Managing the
Yeah.
pigeon is
Yeah.
very costly affair right now, because pest control they are charging very much. So we'll discuss, right?
Yes.
Perfectly. So these are the common few examples which you'll get in your PPT, right? So chemical hazard, pesticide, colorant. So colorant is also important. Yes, yes. Equipment, lubricants. Sometimes we don't check that whether it is lubricant is also, come along with your product within the vehicle. So we need to be extra cautious, right? Allergens, bacteria, yes, yeast and mold. We need to be extra precautious on this, right? So one activity, can we start? Okay. Food hazard. First question is, food hazard can be present in food when reduced to an acceptable level. Yes or no? False or true? Food hazard can be present in food when reduced to an acceptable level. Is it okay? I mean, false or true or
Yes, sir.
false?
If it is acceptable, then true.
True, true.
Okay, true. So is it present? You mean to say it is present everywhere? But yes,
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Acceptable.
okay, fine, acceptable. Because we have not adopted few things, or maybe on day routine, it has come to a routine now. COVID-19, yes, it is present, but we have
Yes,
adopted
sir.
ourselves. We have, channelized ourselves like this. Okay. All conditions and measures. Second question is, all conditions and measure necessary to ensure that the safety and suitability of food product at all stages. Yes. So what is that terminology?
Food safety.
Food hygiene.
Okay. Food hygiene, food control, food suitability. सब में करते थे. So it's the answer is food, because food safety is complete thing which talks about applicable to all stages, because food safety can only be applicable in case of hygiene control, wherever sampling is being done or some control is required. Safety is something like uh, we just look into safety aspect in any means, like biological, some allergens, cleaning, some hygiene, some suitability. So food safety is a complete thing, right? Question number three, microorganism grows well between the temperature range of okay, so danger zone, we
5
call
to
it a danger
74.
zone.
74.
7 to 74, 5 to 74,
5,
or 5 to
5 to
60.
74 from my side.
Okay, any guesses? Any other guesses?
5 to 60.
Sunil Chandel. Okay, to 60 is the correct answer actually. Lots of people are there in the scene. They are not interacting. Sometimes they are asking something, but they are not interacting regularly. So I just suggest, like, start interacting, because otherwise, end of the day, we'll not be able to find out anything. Right. Question number four. Foodborne. Okay. Results when a person consumes food containing pathogens. Intoxication or infection?
Infection. Infection.
Infection. Okay.
Infection.
Infection. Okay. Why not intoxication?
Intoxication is caused when the toxins are released from the pathogen and it
Hmm.
contaminate the food.
Okay.
So that is, yeah.
So you yourself define that answer, because as you said,
Mhm.
intoxication. So this implication of some chemical reactions. So okay, fine. So when anybody facing the typhoid, so what kind of chemical reaction occurs in within the body? Is it infection or intoxication?
Typhoid.
some toxic releases within the body, right? Because you have,
Yeah.
you have contained some pathogen somehow by any mean. So that is what like
Hmm.
foodborne comes in picture. So correct answer would be intoxication, right? Is it clear? I mean, am I clear or I'm just moving ahead? Like, are you
No, sir,
getting my
you're
point?
clear.
No, no, very much
Yes,
clear.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So fifth is foodborne microorganism grows. I'm sorry, I have not taken all these things because I know, I mean, you all aware of it. Because I have taken those area, those part in detail, which is very much practical and which is required actually. I'm not going into, in those area which is not relevant right now because within short span of time we cannot cover each and everything. So I'm going into those area which is very much required and practical. Right? I'm hope yeah, like you are allowing me to this. Okay. Fifth is foodborne microorganism grow well between the pH range of most food. So are you aware of that pH range? I'm sure. So there is a pH range. I mean, for if you talk about the pH of water is 7, right?
Yeah,
Like that, there's a
actually,
pH range in which yes, please.
yeah, if there is a less than 7, then it's acidic, and
Correct,
more
correct,
than
correct.
7, it's
It's a basic,
alkaline.
basic, basic, basic.
So
Hmm.
for the growth of microorganism, the different type of pH is
Yes.
also very much
So it
important.
is, it is true. It is true actually, right?
Yeah,
So schedule 4 starts from here, right? So this is the requirement, not the daily government is across now, right? So it what it talks about. Schedule 4 is basic. Every time you'll talk about food schedule 4, whenever you'll say schedule 4, that means the next person who is sitting beside you or maybe is facing you, he will get to know that yes, he's having certain idea because schedule 4 is very very basic. It talks about your uh, uh, things which is required, very much required within your premises, how to handle basically PRPs or PRPs. I mean in certification or in that terminology. So, what all things needs to be done? What kind of things? What are the resources required to conduct a particular function? So it all comes under this category. So in Schedule 4, there's a part 2 because I have mentioned already that part 2 would be your this thing. Yes, part 2 is all FBO applying for license. So we all are the license holder. We comes into the category, right? Okay. In that regulation, because regulation means it's a regulatory thing. It it's a kind of bill which government of India has had passed. So it is a mandatory requirement, right? So it says regulation 2.1.1 4 subclause 4, right? So general requirement of hygienic and sanitary practices to be followed by all food business operator applying for license. This is open for all, applicable for all, to all, right? So this is the basic general hygiene practices which applies everywhere, wherever we are handling food, whether it is your storage area, whether you are supplying, whether it is transporter, whether you are in processing of manufacturing, relabeling, repacking, anything, or maybe sometime third party storage area. So it is applicable to all, wherever food is there, you it will be applicable, right? So the establishment in which food is being handled, processed, manufactured, packed, stored, and distributed by the food business operator and the person handling them should be conformed to sanitary and hygiene requirement, food and safety measures, and other standard as specified in the Schedule 4. It shall also be deemed to be the responsibility of the food business operator to ensure adherence to the necessary requirement. As I clearly mentioned, that it is applicable to all. Whenever we are saying Schedule 4 means what? Means it talks about and it is implemented. It will be applicable to your process only. Wherever, whatever you are handling. Means food is handled, yes, it is applicable, right? So far it is clear. I mean, Schedule 4, 2.2.1, part which part? 4 part, right? Subclause is 4. Okay, again picture. So which one is correct? Second, first, samosa, open, closed, mashed,
Second.
And one,
but
खाने
always.
को मिले तो
Yes. Yes, sir. Come again.
सेकंड वन खाने को मिले तो
मिलेगा, बिल्कुल मिलेगा सर, बिल्कुल मिलेगा, बिल्कुल। आप छुट्टी दे दो, मैं बना देता हूँ समोसे। ओके। Available? Yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Somehow disconnected. So, schedule 4, there's one activity. Give any 2 or 3 example of personal behavior. Personal behavior. Anything.
चाय बना दे।
Yes. Personal behavior. Not washing hands. Hello.
not washing
Are you with?
hand,
Are
not
you with?
covering the
Yes.
hairs.
Yes. Not covering your hairs. Yes.
Yeah,
Wherever gloves are, is required,
but
you are not wearing it.
yeah,
Yes. So these are the things which comes under personal behavior, which is very much required in your day routine. So pest control program is mandatory, yes or no? Sometimes not, sometimes yes, or it's required,
no,
yes.
it is yes.
Yes.
It is a
It is
mandatory
required.
requirement now. It is a mandatory
It's a
now
mandatory.
because
It's a
yes,
mandatory
yes,
requirement.
it's a shall requirement rather. So personal cleanliness includes hand washing, sniffing all times, frequent smoking, growing long nails,
Hand washing.
hand
Yeah.
washing. Okay, fine. Light should be covered, protected, or unhygienic.
Covered and protected.
Okay, so
Covered and
one thing
protected.
I just wanted to discuss in detail. If we are saying covered, so right now we are having LED lights. This is very frequent and it's very convenient as well. So LED is applicable or not? LED light which is very much covered is not loose ends. So it
Very
is
much.
okay. Okay, great.
It,
So if we'll talk about then window glasses. So what kind of precaution should be taken care of? Window
it should
glass.
it should be dusted frequently and cleaned
Okay.
regularly.
Okay. Should we require any protection, some film, something like that, so that it would be shatterproof
Some films can be provided, but without reflection.
without reflection? Okay. Means dual purpose will be covered if we are keeping films over there. Then it should also come down your inside temperature, right?
Absolutely.
4 to 5 degrees Celsius.
Absolutely.
Yes. That is
Absolutely.
what like which okay, thank you. So there's no specific guideline. Why I'm highlighting because there's no specific guideline because many of companies they are looking for this thing. So somebody says like 3M is a good one. Somebody says XYZ company is very good, but there is no as such. There is no guideline as such given. So how much GSM is required? How much thickness is required? But thing is that like wherever we are applying for a film, we should come down your inside temperature 4 to 5 degree max, and second thing that it should not be reflection. I mean, there should not be any reflection kind of thing. And second thing, last thing is like it should be shatterproof because somebody in future like or maybe something is being thrown over there should not be shattered. Here and there, the glass should be shatterproof like a car glasses, front glasses, right? Okay. So which one is correct? Wrong? Wrong picture.
Second
Obviously,
one is
first one
wrong.
is first one is correct. First one is correct, right? Okay, fine. So requirements are there. Like there are 12 requirements. So we'll cover one by one, very in a speedy manner, because we'll have to cover so many things in that. So locations around layouting and all that, it will come down here. So in case like if you are facing any challenges right now in your premises in your area, we can have a discussion immediately, right? Fine. So okay, what is the time now? Mm,
11:32.
hello. So one break, 5 minutes break, 5 minutes, maybe tea break, something like that.
The 5 minutes would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll break for 5 minutes. We'll come back again, right? 5 minutes.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Make sure this is 5 minutes, huh? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm back.
Hello.
Yeah. All are back. All are back. Yeah. Shall we start?
I can hear.
Okay, you can hear. Thank you so much. Okay. Frequent disconnect and again connect and connection. Okay. Yeah. Are you with me? Hello. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Like certain network issues are there. Sometime got disconnected. Sometime again reconnected. So I'm sorry, I mean, in advance, rather. Okay.
That's okay.
So we'll start with location and surrounding, right?
Yes.
So here it is. So this is a one good area, ample of spaces, parking lot. It is available, but it is not the right scenario which normally we have. We have very squeezy sort of thing sometimes with the biggest area, bigger area maybe, but sometimes we face challenges because small tailors or maybe sometimes warehouses, they are also located in areas surroundings where appropriate roads, appropriate facilities are not covered. So although it is done by the government, local authority, something somewhere, but sometimes we have to be extra precaution, like if approach road is not okay. So if money allows, if company allows, then we should be, we should take care of those part as well. So approach road should be correct, smooth, should not give you any kind of bumping, sumping types roads. So should be clear enough so that your product will be safer, right? So location shall be always from environmentally polluted area. Sometimes appropriately, yes, it is viable, but sometimes it's not viable. So if it is not, then we try to make sure that whatever things needs to be done, we should take care of those area, those investments, rather, I would say it's an investment kind of thing. So away from industrial activities, so normally we get the area which is not very much populated. So for small, except small warehouses, for bigger house warehouses, we have this thing. So we can get this thing, disagreeable or obnoxious order. Some order is there, something which is dumping yard is there, fine. So which we cannot do very much in that, but yes, how we can protect our inner area inside, something which is required, we should give it extra to make it better for product or human control. So we should give that part. So because the dumping yard is nearby, so we cannot do anything, we cannot take our things in a whole night and change entire this thing, we cannot do that. But whatever precaution, because see, dumping yard is there in nearby area, so it allows pests to move here and there. So we should be extra precaution that where pest controls company or whichever is there, whosoever is there, it should be of good enough who can take care of this part particularly, right? Fumes, excessive shoot, dust, smoke, chemical, because all it's all things like these are the things which create nuisance. It give you it allows pests to move enter inside, and it creates very bad environment nearby. So yes, we should be extra precautious. We should whenever we are going for start new facility, so these are the things which we took we should take care of. Location, yes. So already I have done cross. So such kind of area, if you are planning to open a new warehouse, new small outlet, something like that, so we should just check whether these are being handled properly or not, right? Away from areas subject to flooding, prone to infestation of pests, aware areas where waste, either solid or liquid, cannot be removed effectively. So I mean, this is all challenge. So because Hyderabad, recently we have faced that Hyderabad, no one knows that it will be the scene, it may create because it's all natural calamity, we cannot control each and everything, yes, but if we are planning for new thing, new installation, yes, we should be extra precautious, we should take care of this kind of thing, approvals and all that, right? Layout and design, I mean, main ideas behind this, like if your hello, am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Very
So
much.
idea behind is that, like, if we are planning for new locality, new location, we should be extra precautious. We should take care of mostly almost area wherever it is applicable. If not, then we need to be extra precautious. How much cost will be involved to to make it proper? Because that time also, like when budget thing is happening, we are not taking these parts. We are saying, okay, let's start when they'll will we move forward, and then we'll think of. No, this is very much required, because near future, when we'll start operating, it will create nuisance, and it may become a biggest threat for you. Because I've seen that many of good retailers, they start opening they just open their shops nearby in approach road, they just forget this, surroundings and all that. So maybe like I have seen personally that near future when they started operating, people are not coming over there because of these issues, these location surrounding issues. If they're not coming, then nothing is happening, and they need to shut down their process. So this thing has happened, and it is much, I mean, relevant thing, right? Layout and design of food premises establishment. We have good layout so that we know that where to keep what. Okay, so I mean to say where to keep what is very much relevant because we know that like in any processing area, even if we are handling any distribution area, right? So we know we should know that this is the risk assessment. We are able to find out that what are the areas, what are the product which are of high risk, which requires extra control, maybe temperature control, maybe some control, which is which gives you pest issues much more than that. So we should think of that what area, what material have to be kept where. Basis the risk assessment. Risk assessment means we need to finalize what all things are in the process. Why I'm saying initially I told you that we should have process flow chart. So this is the part of flow chart. If we'll have a good flow chart, how our process is going on. So basis that we can find out those area which are on high risk, which are on not high risk. Okay. So basis that we can find out like product which has to be handled. I mean, like let's take an example of grain. If it is prone to pest activity, then we should prepare some platform, something which inside the premises, which is not directly opening to your area, which is open to your outside surrounding. So that precaution we need to take care of. Pallet is required, right? So layouting is very much important. Accessibility layouting is very much required. So layout of food establishment, like avoid cross contamination, compartmentalization, one directional, like it should be one flow, like from one side it is coming in and another side should be goes out. So entry and exit should be properly taken care of. Wall should be made impervious, non-toxic, okay, washable condition where it is required, smooth, appropriate. So these are the yeah.
Yes,
Right.
like there is a layout, the numbers are there. Am
So numbering, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hello.
Tell me. Yeah, audible. Tell me. Yeah, tell me.
In this particular layout, there is numbering, and we are not
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
able to understand what is the meaning of that numbers.
Okay.
The
Okay. So
numbers are
numbering is
what is the meaning of the number? Because there is a 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. In between
fine,
6,
fine.
there
Let
is.
me let me tell
You
you.
have mentioned something.
Okay, let
What
me
is
tell
the
you.
meaning?
Initially, yeah, initially I talked about this flow chart, right? Initially I talked about chart. So flow chart is a process like we'll start from start and end at end. Like in between, meanwhile, what all process comes in. One, two, three. Like if you'll start at one is the your entrance, like when you enter the area, that area
Hmm.
particularly. So this is your start area, right? Second would be your area where,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a establishment I have taken as example. So second area would be your second area, whichever comes in, like in your premises, in your establishment,
Yeah, it
maybe
may be
your first
according to our operation.
yes.
It may be a staging area. Okay.
Correct. Staging areas, right? So where my only question, my only I mean suggestion is to that, like conduct risk assessment, like start making flow chart, prepare a good flow chart, and see like where all control is required, which all areas required, wherein is of high risk, product is kept in high risk, and it requires extra precaution. Accordingly, you can prepare your documentation records, daily monitoring frequency and all that. You can establish, right, corrective action, all that. So it is much required. So I mean, I would suggest again that if you are planning for a good flow of management, so we should have that flow chart, at least basic layout. Okay, so that we can making flowchart, it requires, you cannot stand alone, you cannot single stand alone, you cannot prepare that flowchart. You need few manpowers, few experienced manpower who are directly involved in work, who are directly handling day in day routine process. So just sit with them and ask, okay, what's this first step, second step, third step, fourth step, and start asking what are the challenges you are that which way they are facing, because then only you will get to know that okay, that these are the area which of high concern, which is very much required. Sometimes we also uh, come into conclusion that okay, this area is of high risk but we can avoid it because there's no budget constraint, we can take it off some other day, some other time. So you can park your idea, but still area would be a risky area that may uh, 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 it may create some nuisance to your product particularly. So I mean, my only suggestion, just prepare one flow chart. It will give solve your entire purpose, right? So these are the few guidelines which clearly said that to avoid cross contamination, to avoid these kind of things, commercialization, compartmentalization, one directional flow should be required. Okay, area occupied by the machinery. Suppose machinery is established over to how much area they have occupied. Some storage precautions, some allergen precautions. Some area defined stability has to be defined. High risk area, high cares area, wall. What kind of material is required? How it should be take care of smooth surface, appropriate height, what where to keep what pallets, what kind of pallet is required and where to keep pallets, and some tagging is there is required or not. Fire extinguisher is where it is required, where it is not. So these kind of things comes under this particular conditions. Floor, how it looks like, how it should be made of, I mean what material should be made of, maintaining sound conditions. Sloped where it is appropriately required, slope should be given. Drainage, yes, if you are into such product or maybe such facility that regular cleaning, frequent water cleaning is required, wet mopping is required, then what should be the flow, whether it wet mopping is applicable or not. So, I mean these kind of area is required. Drainage is very important. We should take care of drainage flow. It should be like that it should come out from inside to outside, right? Inside to outside, so there has to be some flow. So because if it is not there, flow will not be there, then your water will be stagnant, and many of times you faced or maybe you are facing right now that it creates nuisance. It allows pests to enter inside, it gives you some bad odor, which also impact your product. Okay, so something which sometimes maybe not may not be directly impacting your product, but indirectly it allows you, because if we talk about pest inside the home, we have this pest, I mean rodents are there very much present in the house. It sometimes it is not directly impacting us, but yes, pests, they are carrying harmful bacterias, something which is hazardous in nature. So somehow we are impacting our product, getting contaminated, our surfaces getting contaminated and in touch with those areas, so we are also getting impacted, right? So in that means we should avoid those carriers. Means we should think of those carriers, how it will impact your area, your storage sections, right? Ceilings, how it looks like, what kind of that paint or some lights, so that it could not allows the accumulation of dirt, condensation, growth of undesirable molds, covings, plasters. So like that, I mean we should be extra precautious while going for this facilities inspection, or maybe some making over this new facility. How it looks like, window screening, wired mesh, proof screening, easily removable screen, yes it is required. Where all ducts are required, where all this PVC curtains are required, doors, how it looks like, how we handle this main shutter area, wherever this big one shutters are, given to protect the internal area, internal premises. So normally what happen, like at the when just close the lid, close the complete shutter, so at last you will find small gap, means gap between the shutter area and that wall, that so there's a small gap which normally allows pests to enter inside. I mean, it it is very, very critical that okay, sometimes pest control is not capable enough to place the bait session across the area. So it allows the pest to enter inside and damage your grains, damage your food product which is already kept inside. So we need to be extra precautious how we can avoid those shutter proofing, how we can do it, where all the gaps are needs to be filled.
There's
So
no
it is,
sound.
again, it's not coming. How it is not coming, sir?
So now it's you are
Okay, so no problem. No. So here I'm just trying to explain what all things is required. I mean, what all things should be, taken care of, like establishment. If you talk about layouting and establishment, walls, floor, ceiling, overhead structure, how it looks like, what kind of material should be used, shuttering and all that is very much important. This is the typical example just to make you understand that how we can go into detail routing and design. Okay, so are you getting this thing, this slide particularly? There is one cross, there is one right tick mark. So it's bit natural that in a retail store, everything is properly managed, arranged, it is kept over there. So we have kept right. Okay, we have put right. So one thing is which is again they have managed their own thing in their manner, but it is not right, because at times when you ask something, so sometimes what happen, like if that particular retailers, he has to take certain time, dig it out to find out the product whichever you are required. So my intention or FSCCI's intention is to schedule 4 its intention is to layouting should be like that, that wherever it is applicable, wherever it is required, it should be approachable, right? And it should not be approachable to pest, it should not be approachable to other things which is not required. Like I said, I talked about drainage system, right? So these are the practical scenario which gives you a clear cut layout and design, right? This is the only thing which is required at premises, right? In that, one thing is also like mentioned, food item, non-food item, like layouting is also important, like wherever food items has to be kept, where is not. So this is very much relevant to small petty operators, maybe small retailer or maybe retailer, maybe big retailers like Big Bazaar and Spencer's and all that. They're also looking into such kind of, they appreciate this kind of PPT. But maybe in our scenario right now, because people are handling so much products, they are not handling maybe going into that. So in this 50 particularly, it's clearly mentioned that this food, non-food should be prepared separately or stored separately, just to avoid cross contamination, right? So the only intention is the case. Now the equipment and containers in our scenario, equipment could be wherever we just keep our product or handle, through which we handle our product. Am I audible now? Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
you are.
fine. So equipment and container in our scenario, we should be extra precautious, like what all equipment is required to handle those activities. Typically, if you talk about the storage condition, storage area, what kind of equipment we are using, what kind of container we are using. We are not using any kind of container. I'm sure you are not containing any sort of container which we are being used. So equipment could be, yes, it could be your some conveyor is there required just to transfer the material from one place to another place. Maybe sometimes transferring your material to directly to the lorry, or something transferring back to the lorry to your storage area. So these kind of equipment is required. It has to be completely intact and in working condition. There should not be some spillover of some greasing, something like that. So in our scenarios, this much is required. In processing, if we go into the processing, so there are so many guidelines, like equipment should be made of good SS, like corrosion material, do not impart any toxicity to food material, kept all food item good order, repair and clean sanitary conditions, no use of any which is no of no use should not be kept over there, misplacing, obnoxious order, something like that. I mean, these are the requirements which directly impact the food premises where the processing is being done, where we are storing. So there is no as such involvement of much equipments, right? CIP is being done. Now CIP is very much important, because if you talk about CIP, CIP, I would suggest, like, understand, make it understand like a cleaning procedure should be validated. I mean, how we are cleaning, what kind of chemicals being used to cleaning that area, particularly your machines, your floor, your surfaces, your wall. Is it cleaning without chemical or cleaning with chemical? Wherever it is required, it's not mandatory that's given that cleaning chemical is required, but it is where it is applicable. Like SS container, like your conveyor is required. Sometimes your conveyor belt is required certain kind of cleaning, just to clean off, wipe off completely, greasing. Okay, separate identifiable container for waste. Waste has to be handled in proper manner. Chemical has to be managed in a labeled manner. It has to be in a label, proper label, right? One thing is very, very important. Like if pest control is coming to your premises, right, and they are making or making some dilution, some chemical is dilution is being done, it's being processed over there. So then be cautious that it has that pest controller has to maintain one record which clearly said that how much concentration they have used in your premises, whichever pesticide they are using. I mean, it's all approved, obviously. So, how much chemical concentration they have used in your premises? Because this thing is required just to implement integrated pest management services. It is required, very much required. Because many times, what pest controller do, it does, they just impart a dose. I mean, enhance the dose of those chemical, right? So chemical dose is when it has, so probably it will give you some contamination. Chances of contaminations are there whenever they are applying the chemicals over there across the storage area. So there are high chances that it may go into your product. If concentration is already high, then yes, definitely it will create nuisance. So we should be extra precautious whenever they are visiting your area. Just place one record wherever they will just keep that how much concentration they have used, right? So I think this much is clear equipment container for in our. If any case anything like specific you want to discuss, please discuss, because storage and distribution this much is required. Anything you want to discuss, equipment and container specifically? Because in food premises, food processing, there's much, it's a good list actually, but in our scenario this is not much incorporated. It's not, except if we are going for some relabeling, like as madam said, like if he's she's importing the almonds and processing it, and again relabeling it. Small package form packets are being found, they are forming some packages or something like that. Then there is a processing involved, then this thing will come automatically. Otherwise, storage like transportation things, storage, keeping the goods and transferring it to the next customer, that won't require any much equipment containers, right?
Just wanted
Yeah,
to
Mr.
ask,
Saurabh. Yeah, Mr. Saurabh. Yeah, please.
yeah, just wanted to ask, what is the approved quality of material to be used in food containing containers? Like what steel should be used, what plastic should be used? Is there any specification provided by FoSTaC?
No, specifically for SS, it is clearly meant, because see, it's all depending upon your budget, and it's all depending upon your material which is being handled on the container, right? So 304, 306 is a grade which they have given, and
Okay.
sometimes it is on higher grade. So it is depending upon the material which you are going to use, right? It should not any toxic migration of toxicity, right? It should not have something which reacts with your product, right? So that is what, like, because SS is not reacting with any other chemicals, so that is what we are into
Okay.
SS more, right? If product is directly touching your container, and container is made of SS, good SS, I mean 304, 306 something, so it doesn't allows, or some migration will not take place. So that is what the only guidelines which they have given. And for plastic, I don't think so they have given any plastic, but yes, plastic should be made of some virgin granules. Virgin means it's a food grade naturally. I mean, doesn't give you any sort of contamination, but at the same time, it should be heat resistant in any mean. Although we are not giving any kind of heat treatment over there, but still heat tolerance is required for that particular, this plastic grade if you're talking about.
Okay.
So this much is given. And if we'll go into deeper and deeper, there are certain IS guidelines. If you want, I can dig it out and give it to you, no problem.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That would be a great help.
Because
Thank
I
you.
mean, if we'll talk about detail and description, this much is required. Because more than that, yes, there are guidelines, because many of times we are handling some pet jars, just to keep our products. And many of times what happen, like cooling is not that much, because although like we have to keep the product after cooling only. So how much migration will take place? I mean, there are so many things. How much that pet jar thickness, wall thickness should be like how much. So these are the probability, these are the application, these are the specification which only gives when the product is aligned and we know the product. So basis that we can find out, we can identify. But in retail distribution, it's not much required. Yes, pallet, in case of pallet is not required like that. It should be have I mean, okay, plastic pallet if you are using it, curve should not be there, any groove should not be there, so that it allows the pest activities, harborage activities. Otherwise there is no such guideline. It should be cleanable properly, and if required, washable as well. That's this much. Right, moving ahead. Facility. So again, if we are using some water, so water testing should be there. Other than that, I would suggest, like if we are using some groundwater for drinking purpose, for like I'm talking about as a part of human safety. So we should, at least annually we should go for the testing. If we are, using this potable as a potable water, this groundwater as a potability. I mean, after passing through the this uh, RO, something like that. So we should go for this thing just to take care of our human manhandling. So we should not give any kind of contaminated water, something like that. Okay, water, if it is used in your premises in any means, like if it is being used in your facility for maybe sometimes cleaning, so it should be of clean. Potability has to be checked, ensured. Periodic cleaning of tank is required. Periodic means at least, if not used very frequently, then at least for this quarterly cleaning is required, right? So non-potable water, if used only for cooling of equipment, steam production, firefighting, yes, we can use it, but we should be highlighted. It should be documented. Distinguish not potable water pipes. We have to find out. I mean, which all pipelines is not potable. So green or red signal, which we normally allows, you know, giving it to the premises. Green means these water lines are potable, and red means it's not potable, but still is using in the processing. It's not directly touching your product or facility or processes. I mean, whosoever is food handler over there. So this much is required in water supply. Cleaning facility, adequate facility. If housekeeper, you have aligned some housekeeping agency, so they need to be extra precautious while applying the chemicals, while storing the chemicals. Label should be there. So we have to be frequently checking over there, and how they are keeping, how much they are adding, how much concentration they are making. So like that we can trace it out. And how things are being handled, how they are washing the clothes, whichever they are using for cleaning or dusting. So how they are procuring, what kind of, maybe it's reusable, reusable, then how much frequency they are being washed properly. So washing of raw metal, sometimes it required adequately. So something in our scenario, correctly, if I'm not wrong, in our scenario it's not required that much requirement is there. Like if you talk about big basket, yes, there is a big house, big facility, so they're just going for a process which called washing the vegetables. They just procure it, wash it with certain chemicals under some certain ppm level, percent precipitation is there. So then passing through this drying, then packing it to the different SKUs. So that's a different scenario, but in our scenario, more or less, it's not required, so I'm not talking into detail. Okay, yes, if you are washing a premises area, some water is applicable, then yes, we have to be very precautious. Water should be of potable condition. Ice, steam, again, the same situation will come out. Drains, yes, drain, as I told you, that drain flow should be maintained. It should be flow from inside to outside, something like. So just to avoid stagnation of, water stagnation should not be the part of it. Drain, okay. Design and construction to reduce risk of contamination wherever possible, wherever it is applicable. We should think of like how contamination took place, how we can avoid the contamination. You know, it should prevent the contamination, whether it is drainage system, whether it is your facility, whether it is your ceiling, whether it is your equipment, right? Cleanability. So these are the things which is very much required and very much should be understood within the handlers. Waste bins, how has to be maintained, how in what frequency it has to be cleaned daily or within, I mean, twice a day, thrice a day. Where to dispose of. Okay, sometimes what happen in our storage facility, something like which is like, okay, I'll take one example. Like I was in one of the company where they were into exporting the products, right? So during transportation, so one accident took place, right? So what happened, like they were into canned item. It was a tinned canned item. So can has got certain dents on it somehow due to accident, due to jerk and all that. So uh, it has got rejected. I mean, at port only itself in India only, they have got rejected. So entire container came back to us only storage facility. Then I was the person who has given, my management has given me authority or responsibility that just go into and check it out in detail. Whatever things are acceptable and what are things are not acceptable. So this comes sometimes it happens to you as well, right? Am I audible? Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you're not participating. That is what I thought. Like people are listening or not. So I mean, this has happened to me. So management has given me some kind of responsibility that we need to check and ensure whether how much cans we can retrieve. So any idea, any things which you want to discuss? What should be the correct way to handle this kind of situation? Because this must, this is the part of distribution and storage. So must have faced or maybe you will face sometimes such kind of issues, because something which is rejected. How we can revamp and how we can recover the I mean how far okay.
The most important thing, your cans should not be open from any of the point of area.
Perfect.
uh, During it should not so the air should not go inside, and it will
Hmm.
do the contamination. And
Okay.
if there is a dent but without any physical damage, it can
Hmm.
be okay, but depends upon the customer who is ready to willing that particular receive that particular product. But as per
Hmm.
contamination point of view, if it is intact and it is not damaged physically, then
Hmm.
uh, no issue for the uh,
Okay.
uh, selling.
Okay. So broader aspect, if you see, like you said, like okay, if it is okay then you can use it, fine. Anyone else, like specifically regarding this canning system, or maybe who can who has already worked in can technology, can processing? Yeah, I can see two Shwetas. So anyone can want to share one thing? Yeah, am I audible? I think you are feeling so bored that this is not okay. So I mean, all those things which I'm discussing right now, this is the one thing, one area which definitely we have faced sometimes because we are into retail and distribution. If not faced, then definitely we'll face sometimes. Because see, wherever cost is involved, so management or most probably our priority is to manage the show. We cannot, uh, uh, take it for granted and okay, take the product for granted and give it to for dispose of. We have to be justified, justifiable. I mean, things should be justified at how we'll revamp the entire thing, entire scenario, how we'll be in safer side. So this is the part where management role is come in. So how will deal with such kind of issues if you'll face or you must have faced somewhere? So how you have faced such challenges? Anyone want to share something, or I just initiate? Okay, let me just finish this thing. So that time, what I did, I initially I collected few food handlers, good food handlers. I mean, those are basically storekeepers, or loaders rather. I would say loaders who just transport one material to here, from here to there, right? So I just find out those areas, those handlers, and just given certain trainings on that, like if product is having dent, then remove it and keep it this side. If it is not having dent, please remove it, keep it this side. So I've just segregated. First, the first keyword is segregation. So I did that segregation part, right? So whichever, like as you said, that if it is dent, yes, it is of no use. So we have just removed from the system. We have just asked management that this is of no use. We cannot go for it, right? So I've just given it to the okay as a disposal. I mean, whatever they want to do, just do it. Rest part, which I feel so that it's okay, okay, it could be okay. But as a food technologist, what I did, I just asked one of the NABL accredited lab, FSSA approved lab, just to ask to come and conduct the sampling. So they have just conducted sampling, and out of those, like they have picked 10 packets, 10 tin cans, right, from here, and then basis their sampling plan. So basis that, they have gone into the detailed analysis, microbial analysis and other parameters. So after that, they have come back after 5 or 6 days, and they have shown the result. So the result was some mixed. It was mixed result. Few of them, like they have shown that it is good. Few of them, it is shown that it is bad due to uh, uh, microbial contamination. So then I presented in front of management. I discussed with them in detail that this much we have lost, and this much, okay, still in dilemma that whether to use it or not. So, I mean, my intention is to cover here that we should not be very idealistic sometimes. We should not be very, accurate. We cannot be actually. So, in that case, we should take the help of third person who is very much eligible, who is validated, who's approved one to conduct such kind of studies or analysis. Okay, so once I presented the entire data in front of management, so suddenly they said, okay, fine, okay, this is not accurate, this is not appropriate, then we should discard the entire this lot and highlight this to the insurance agency, whosoever is there. Already we have tied up with insurance agency. So ultimately, they are going to get entire this thing, whatever is the covered inside within that lot. But thing is that, like once management has asked me, told me to somehow we have to also identify the areas wherein opportunities here, and we can find out the opportunity. So I mean, just for your understanding, so I mean, if we are not capable, if we are not equipped, then we should go for something like which is far relevant, which is approved process, right? So hope you're getting my point. Okay. Yeah. Hello, are you getting my point?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I hope you are the
Yes,
only person who are
please.
getting okay, fine, fine. So this is one scenario which I have shared, because maybe it is for use or maybe not use. Okay, so personal facilities, toilet should be there, hot supply, cold water. I mean, these are the facility which is very much nominal, which is very much required in the facilities wherever we are working and food handlers are working. Numbers are required. I mean, if so much of food handlers are there, loaders are there, so we should have proper hand washing station, proper toilet in numbers for those. I mean, I would suggest 25 for 25 food handler, there should be one toilet facility. So that's a basic minimum requirement, right? So air quality, ventilation, yes, if it is required, it is applicable to your premises. How we are maintaining the humidity, how we are maintaining, maintaining the flow of air. Like as you can see in one of the picture, type right side top, there's one shade. In that, there's one. I mean, you will find out multiple ducts over there, air ducts rather. So these are the ducts which very much, nowadays very much in, and yes, it is good actually. If it is working condition, it is very very good, and people are using it very frequently. in a godowns in a storage area. It also normalize the temperature which is inside. Sometimes it is getting hotter, so it normalize the air ventilation proper manner. So this is a one good example, one good initiative, Kaizen, I would say. So they did it, and once it is done, and now people are adopting it as a benchmark. Okay, so lighting should be adequate, natural lighting if it is possible. Then yes, shades they are having natural lighting. People are removing the tin shade and replacing with the transparent one. So it allows more and more lighting to come in, and it will give you some clarity pictures that okay products are in a safe mode, or nothing is getting contaminated. Food operations control, if we go into that control part, operations part, so there are so many things involved. So in storage and distribution, mainly what kind of operations are there? I mean, it's mainly checking the vehicles at the entrance or before loading or unloading sometimes. So these are the basic things. And if we'll go into inside the premises, there are other operations which are involved. So we'll start one by one. We'll name it one by one. Please add. Okay. So I'll ask. Okay, Supriya Patil, can you add one more operations or control wherever in storage and distribution, which is relevant to in storage and distribution? Supriya, Miss Supriya, are you there? Miss Supriya, I think she is not here. Okay, Sujit, Mr. Sujit, are you there? Can you add a few points? Yeah, Mr. Sujit. Mr. Sunil Chandel, are you there? Am I audible, guys? Audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, very
Okay, so
much.
people are not responding actually. So I would suggest like whosoever is that administration, please look into it, because if you're not taking participation, then how will proceed further? So we should look into that part as well. Let me just discuss. Okay, Gaurav is there. Gaurav, yeah, Gaurav is there. Okay, okay. Let me just discuss separately. I'll discuss later on lunchtime maybe. Okay, Anmol is there. Anmol Gupta. Yeah. Mr. Ravinder.
I think we the attendance right now. That'd be much better.
That is, yeah, actually, because unless otherwise, how will proceed further? Because there are few only. I mean, one, two, three, four. That's it. So with the four people, how will proceed further? It's a question mark actually. If they have paid for it, I mean, they should attend. Otherwise, though, I mean, it's not of use actually.
No,
Okay, we'll
it's
proceed.
not the question of payment. Basically, the
No,
fundamentals have to be got cleared.
exactly. I
Uh,
think they
the,
all are.
the
They all are. I mean,
certification has no meaning if we do not understand the
correct,
fundamentals.
correct, correct, correct. Because see, ultimately management will also ask like how much, how far you have covered. So just implement, because my intention is like that only, because practical exposure should be given. So if you're not able to implement it, because many times like people are just going for different trainings program, but they're not able to implement it later on, because they were just implement, they have they were just attended. So I don't know, I mean, how we'll proceed further. I'll discuss separately, no issues. So, okay, fine. So, please add, I mean, what kind of operation you are handling right now within the storage and premises, I mean, storage and distribution, if you talk about. So, I think like one is transportation. I mean, checking the vehicle is one of the good or very much important aspect which we need to control that operations. The operation should be viable to that particular product. If it is required temperature control, yes, should be controlled temperature. And control temperature means it should be verified at any point of time. Suppose if vehicle is,
There are two or three things that needs to be really
okay,
checked in terms
okay,
of transportation.
yeah, please.
Primarily vehicles, we have to ensure what was the last product that was being handled in that particular product in that vehicle.
Correct.
Was it
Correct.
pesticides or insecticides? If that is the case, then the vehicle should be washed and then only it should be taken for usage. Now, this is a very basic and fundamental rule which normally most of the food business operators they try to overlook it because the vehicles are being procured from the open or spot markets.
Different sources.
The
Correct.
Absolutely. The second major aspect is to ensure that we are FSSA compliant. We should use vendors who are also registered as FSSA transport operators.
Absolutely. This is one of the key aspect actually, which people
Now,
overlook normally.
this is being overlooked by and large by most of the organizations that I have come across in my 36 years
Absolutely.
of career.
Absolutely. 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 Perfect. Anybody else want to share anything? Vijender ji?
Yes.
Yeah, please add, I mean, few more points, like how will operate and control the distribution and channels, basically, retail and distribution channel, rather.
Uh, uh, we can handle food by we can use like forklift
Correct.
and
Correct. So in forklift, if you are using forklift, so what kind of precaution we should take care of? Maybe some preventive action, preventive maintenance is required, right? Because suddenly what happened, like I have seen that sometimes forklifts not working, and suddenly, I mean, unfortunately we have only one forklift. So if it is not working properly, it got, you know, some breakdown has happened. So we just ask or involve many food handlers or maybe loaders. So I don't think so, like sometimes loaders also they are not, you know, looking at in that manner that food is has to be kept separately or safely rather. So
safely.
they
So it
just put it like this only, and sometimes it got damaged. The
Good.
product got
Sorry.
damaged. Yeah, please, sir.
See, the basically what
Hello. Yeah, please, sir.
exactly happened at the time of distribution. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hmm. Yeah,
Am I
definitely.
audible?
Please. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
See,
absolutely.
basically what happened at the time of distribution is uh,
Hmm.
normally the people who are involved in terms of loading, unloading, or handling of these products. Now there's another
Hmm.
mandatory requirement of every 6 months of medical checkup of these people. Now,
Correct.
this is also being overlooked by many of the organizations because it had to be a recurring cost. We're not talking about the
Correct.
100% total medical checkup, but we are talking about the basic medical checkup so that there's
Absolutely.
no untoward or communicable disease being there with these people who
Transfer.
are handling the food products.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is one part which you have highlighted is much required, and now government also have certain, you know, given certain relaxation. So who are not directly involved in food processing, who are not touching any kind of, you know, food directly, so they are relaxed with the, you know, vaccination, which was inapplicable previously. So vaccination is not required now. So other than that, a routine checkup, which is very much required, and yes, it is required because, like, if your handler is not competent, he's not able to, you know, conduct the job, and still he's doing. So there are high risk, high chances of. So one is uh, communicable disease, spread of communicable disease. One is like is not able to perform the job correctly, and sometimes what happen, like your product got damaged, and you know, it happens. Some incident may took place. So we should be extra precautious. What else, like other than, like I have given quoted one example of, you know, forklift it's not working, then yes, food handlers are required, and number of food handlers, and many of them are required for one day, single day. So people are, you know, your contractor will hire many people from outside. They're not even bothered about what kind of personal hygiene is required, what kind of, you know, precautions is required. So they just pick the product and keep it inside the transportation, and sometimes they just misbehave. Sometimes, you know, this not taking extra precaution of, you know, personal hygiene and all that. So that time product gets contaminated. They are not very much uh, friendly for this environment, so it happens. So preventive maintenance is one part where your involvement is required.
And another part is like if temperature control is required, if we are controlling any sort of product, maintaining the temperature, then that area has to be covered, calibrated every time, like on routine basis. It has to be checked, monitored. Some record has to be prepared on routine, like twice a temperature needs to be checked. And who all are medically fit can only enter that premises, that particular area, as sir has mentioned. So like that, there are so many things which covers under operations and control. One thing is very much important: allergen. So while unloading and while loading, we have to be extra precautious that allergen, as per the protocol, it has to be delivered, it has to be managed. Even transportation time, if it is separated, yes, it should be separated. If it's not, then like part load is there, then we should be extra precautious and should be informed and documented that this much, these are the things with containing batch code, this much is coming as a allergen or something like that. So labeling is very very important here, right? So these kind of control is required. And yes, I just discussed like
So,
yes, yes, please.
so I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Actually, I want to know that whether FSSI has issued any guidelines regarding allergen management or
Yes, yes, yes.
prevention.
It is there. It is there. It is there. So there are see
So,
like
yeah,
FSSAI, they are following codex guidelines, right? So whatever code,
yes.
so code is a clear-cut CSE guideline they have given provided. So it is very much clear over there, like what all comes under allergen and why. I mean, how you have to manage it. See, allergen,
Hmm.
we cannot allergen. If you think about that allergen is maintained, okay, fine, you can maintain at your facility. But how about your parent this facility, like wherever you are, if you're not producing anything, you are importing your item, right? So how your importer
Yeah.
is managing the allergen, it's bit difficult. I mean, it's bit confusion, right?
Hmm.
If you'll ask,
Right.
or if you'll ask to your manufacturer or processor, your mother, maybe your parent manufacturer or processor,
Hmm.
if you ask how you're managing the, he'll say, okay, I've kept it separately like that, he's managing something like that. But he cannot. Allergy is something like it's very very
Hmm.
tough. I would say it's very very lengthy process. So people are normally, they are trying to find out a different mode of action, like labeling, segregating, sorting, at time.
Yes.
Okay, so these kind of things can be handled, but your product is okay, fine, you are handling almonds, it's completely fine, that can be managed. But
Yeah.
wherever like powder or some herbs are involved, so it's a bit difficult to manage
Yes.
the entire show, because by and all mean, I mean, there are high risk, there are high chances of accident, product get contaminated.
Right.
So it's very
Right.
very risky thing. Protocol is there, but there are so many things they have given. Validation is required, much required, because after processing, there is a process called cleaning, right?
Hmm.
Cleaning
Right.
means
Right, sir.
complete,
Cleaning.
yeah, complete cleaning. I mean, once it is clean,
Complete cleaning. Yeah.
yes, you need to check and validate after every batch, then only it is
Yes. Yes.
foolproof. Then
Hmm.
only it is foolproof, otherwise it is not. So rather,
Yes.
like they have clear cut said, like, okay, if we are handling any sort of allergen, so we have to be extra precaution, and we have to give on label as a clear cut declaration, we have to give that this facility is also managing this much thing. I mean, all allergen maybe. So like you have seen
So,
in
sir,
the
there is
like,
any gazette notification? Can I get that on the website?
gadget notification, I don't think
About.
so. Like it's there for India specifically,
Okay.
because India, it's a, I mean, just introduced. I mean, I think last 3 4 years back only. So there is no gadget notification is there, but yes, guidelines are there. We see, like for allergen management, there's no
Hmm.
guideline should not be there.
Yeah.
It should not be the participated. I mean, the gadget notification, because see, it's all management. It's all like how we are managing the show, how we
Yes.
are handling this. We cannot go for gadget notification.
Hmm.
So they have clearly mentioned validation should be there. Like if you are handling peanut, right? So there is one kit
Hmm.
which I know personally. I know that ELISA kit is there. So after
Eliza
every
Kit,
batch, we
yes.
yes, after every
Hmm.
batch we need to be clean thoroughly. Then check with the help of ELISA. Right? ELISA is swab basically. So if it is
Hmm.
okay, then fine. It is coming in the range. Fine. If it is not, then again we have to go for the rework. I mean, re-cleaning sort of. So it takes
Okay.
time,
Okay.
it takes
Hmm.
time. So to avoid those things, I mean, specifically like people who are exporting to US in companies or some stringent district companies. So they are keeping different facility for different things. For allergen, there is a separate facility. For other things, there's separate facility. So like that, they are managing a show. I mean, some partition, they just do the partition. Then
Also, there is
brings
some like color coded container which
color
give
coded
from,
containers.
yeah,
Even
from
for
different.
even for brush for brewing, cleaning,
Hmm.
brush is separate
Yes.
color coded. Even
Yeah.
if we'll think into like BRC, clear cut mandate they have given that the dress code should be different. If we are managing allergen, then dress code should be different. Their entrance exit should
Okay.
be different. Their area designated is different. You must have seen like one of the pharma
Okay.
company, like I have seen that many of you are handling pharma. Pharma, there is clear cut guidance because in pharma there are chances of cross contamination. I mean, this high risk actually. So they've differentiated their processing facility, their store facility in high risk, high care zone. So there are two designated zones they have created. So their entire thing is very separate. Even their tea time, if they have to come for break, so again they will have to follow the same path. Again they have to go for the same path. They cannot go, I mean,
Okay.
some other way around.
Yes, yes, yes.
So they are very,
Okay,
very,
okay.
they're very strict. So there's no gazetted notification as such, but yes, management and like what all qualification is required, yes, it is there, it is present,
Okay, okay.
right? So there
Thank
are,
you, sir.
yeah, you're welcome.
Are you on mute or hello?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, again, connected somehow. So am I audible now?
Yes.
Very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, one of the good examples here, like so procurement of raw material. So I'll take one example of mango, right? So whenever we are procuring raw material like as mango, so we call as a free of parasites, microorganism, pesticide, etc., etc. So how will ensure that it is of good quality, of no such contaminants in it? So yes, we cannot go and check because see, like one person is sitting at America, USA, and there we are supplying from here to there, and they are asking for assurance. So what kind of assurance we can give it to them that this is of no contaminants and everything is good, perfect as per the requirement. So how they will ensure, that okay, this is of appropriate quality and whatever is required. So any idea? I mean anything which must be updated.
We can issue them certificate of analysis for that
Fine,
particular
fine,
product.
fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Also for record, if they ask for any, do you have any HACCP plan for your
But
uh,
mm-hmm. There are so
unit, for
many
your
things.
unit something?
There are so
Yeah,
many things.
as
Yes.
a record.
So initially, what they have designed, they are asking for one person. Suppose if you are exporting to USA directly, right? So they ask for that one person should be qualified for PCQI, that is preventive control qualified individual, who calls as a
Yes, yes,
PCQI,
yes.
human food.
Yeah.
So PCQI is a complete person, is a responsible for entire activity, who can be sure, who can assure your product to that facility, whosoever is sitting, person who is procuring your product from India or somewhere else, some other country, if it is going to the specifically for USA. So they have clear cut mandate guidelines they have given. Another thing is that European country, if we talk about, so they are only looking for BRC certified channel, I would say channel. Okay. whether you are a storage distribution, whether you are raw metal. So mainly their focus is on like the facility should be at least BRC certified. If not, then it comes under any of the certification which comes under GFSI. GFSI is Global Food Safety Initiative. So
Okay.
there are four certification which comes under. So BRC is one of them, and FSSC is one of them. Somehow, I mean, now it is comes a part of this thing. IFS and SQF. So these are the four, and other things are different. I mean, halal is separate, which is of no use here. So they are only looking for those who are, comes under, who are, certified with this GFSI, at least basic minimum. So by that mean they are, they are checking our credibility, our, assurance protocols, whichever they have taken, we have taken. So that is what the certification comes into the picture. So one is that, and if it is local, then suppose if we are procuring something from local vendor, so anyhow we can go and check their facility, find out the whatever they did, how, what is the hazard plan, how they're differentiated, what are the control measures they have taken if something goes wrong. So such kind of thing, such kind of activity, we can go into and check. Like raw metal conforming to the regulation under the act, whichever act is applicable, or something which customer has identified or defined already. So record of the same we can anyhow we can identify. Some of the organization, they can they just ask for like NSF. You must be knowing that NSF, they are the one company who just conduct the audit for their customers basically. So NSF auditors, they are worldwide recognized. They are going to the site and those site particularly, and find out the, I mean, conduct the entire audits and submit the reports. So I mean, these are the means and ways how we can go and approach the raw material procurement areas wherever it is possible, right? Like milk chambers, like in small villages there are milk chambers. So they have designed something like for mother dairy, for Amul, they are working for it. So for those small chambers, even audits is being conducted. So how they are procuring, how they are managing, how they are, what are the control checks required over there. So how, because end of the day, one vehicle will come and it will just take it out, all the milk, and give it to the, and that vehicle will transfer to the main mother unit nearby. So that's the way like they have channelized their and managing it. So in this way, like by those means, procurement we can cover it. I mean, one thing is required, that vendor should be approved. As sir has mentioned that in transportation case, vendor should be approved and it has to be license holder, right? So this is very much required, very much in right now, and is a mandatory requirement now. We cannot let it like this, let it go like this. This transporter has to be, it has to be certain guideline which government has imposed to them, and they need to follow. If not, then we should not entertain those vendors, right? Similarly, if we are managing any outsourced activity like pest controller, like housekeeping guy, like any security guard which we are handling right now. See, like there are two terminologies. One is HACCP, hazard analysis critical control point. One is TACCP, one is VASAP. VASAP is vulnerability critical control point, which covers, right, assessment and all that. And another one is threat. So we need to be extra precautious on threat. We need to be sure whether, I mean, we do like one unsatisfied unsatisfied vendor, or maybe one unsatisfied employee, unsatisfied or dissatisfied rather employee, it may create nuisance. It may go into your direct high risk zone, high risk area, high risk, raw metal, or maybe whichever is, you have kept as a pact. So he can go and contaminate your entire this lot. So that one lot may be very much unacceptable for the customers, or maybe you may behind the bars sometimes, because you are the liable for
E-
those things.
Even the drivers, the cleaners need to
Yes,
under
yes, yes.
safe driving and emergency processes
Correct,
in case of
correct,
accidents and other things. So that
correct.
also should be forming one of the aspects for these FSSI licensed
Yes, yes,
vendors.
yes. Even I would say like one of the right example, and it's a scenario which normally happens. If your vehicle is, chilled and frozen, you are, transferring chilled and frozen items in the vehicle. So just to save their diesel, they just switch off the temperature things, temperature control things, right? And they just go into like this only. and once they will reach nearby area, just start open this that area. So for that reason, now temperature control is being monitored by the office only, that mother office. There's one device which they put in. It will be operated from one place. I mean, we can operate and we can, on, switch off. So something, which it has been initiated, created just to control these kind of scenarios. Because we cannot rely on drivers, we cannot rely on cleaners. We have to be sure enough to, procure the material and approach to that vendor, particularly whichever is required, right? So storage, yes, I think it's much, clear that adequate food storage facility to protect food from contamination, cold storage facility. So for cold storage, FIFO, FAFO, this is much required. We'll talk about later. Segregation of storage of raw metal processed, like in case of if you're handling meat, so raw and process should be separated because of raw, it contains high number of pathogens, right? As compared to process almost zero. So we should be extra precautious that how we are handling food, how we are procuring, how we are keeping, cleaning metals, cleaning how we are handling. This is one example for particular stores. uh, Grains kept in gunny bag directly on the floor, and one is in the good SS or maybe something containers. So I think right one is very much accurate, because gunny bag, it allows pests to enter and contaminate your product, right? Separately, like separate cold storage of raw metal like meat, poultry, seafood product from that area, work in progress, something which is, sometimes what happen, like some areas work in progress. So we should avoid those aspects. We should, clear it out, clear out those product whichever is kept, and transfer to the some locality or something nearby area where the temperature can be controlled, some storage, good storage facility. Then only we can start working over there. Pallets, how we need to keep it, like non-toxic container should be required, storage on pallet. I mean, these are the basic requirement. FIFO is FIFO, FEFO, LIFO. There are few technologies which is being widely used now. So for us, FEFO and FIFO is much more relevant and much more required. FIFO is first in, first out, and FMFO is first manufacturing, first out. So it happens, means probably paradigm is shift now. FMFO, no, FIFO is no more. Sometimes in case of pharma, it is much very relevant, but in few consignments, we also follow the FMFO rather. Packaging, so there are packaging guidelines are involved, like in case of in case of storage and distribution. So I mean, wherein like we can control the packaging things. Unlabeled things should not be entertained, it should be there only, from distribution side only. One culture is very much adopted in distribution center, that is cross dock. Anyone can just highlight what is cross dock, or I'll explain. One is cross dock, which
The
is very much
process of
in.
getting materials from various sources and combining
Yes.
it together into one single truck for
Hmm?
onward delivery to might be a single customer or might be to multiple customers through milk plant.
Okay. So
Can
do
be
we have?
we can
Yeah.
yes, sorry.
No, no, it's okay, sir. Please go ahead. Please go ahead,
Get,
sir.
get a samples from one warehouse. We can get finished products like your toothpaste and the soap from another warehouse, and then try to club it together
Hmm.
and then send it across in one truck. So it's basically optimizing the vehicle load and the vehicle capacity.
Hmm. Fine. So, like, if I'm not wrong, okay, fine, no problem. Got it. Got your point. So, do we have any checks for cross-dock as well separately? Because normally, what I have seen personally, I mean, I have just even many of the distribution center. Uh, like cross-dock are not being handled as rest of the product. They are, just coming from the vendor, and many of times I have seen that full load is coming to the premises, and second vehicle transferred to a second vehicle, and it just goes out. No checks are being taken care of. So is it so?
Again, depends upon what type of cross-dock. If this cross-dock is primarily catering to only your food grain items, yes, there are checks. But if it's a common cross-dock
Mm-hmm.
wherein multiple products are being handled, there are different
Mm-hmm.
SOPs involved, and there are different set of people
Correct.
involved because material handling of food grain and your goods meant for human consumption, the area is entirely
Mm-hmm.
demarcated within the cross-dock. It is not a common area
Mm-hmm.
wherein all goods and processes can be done simultaneously.
Okay. 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 Any other area like where, I mean, anyone else want to highlight something? Yes,
Yeah, hello.
postdoc particular. Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, Shweta,
Yeah,
yeah.
Shweta, please, please, Shweta.
As you're showing the slide of the packaging, I just want to know, is there any guideline on packaging?
Ma'am, some sound is coming from back of you, like wherever you are sitting.
Yeah, are you able to
Yeah.
hear me?
Now I'm able to hear, but some okay. Please tell me again once again.
In office, so maybe
Some
right
noise is coming. Just ask people around you, like just ask. I mean, just keep quiet for a short time.
It's difficult. Anyways, can you just tell me, is there any guidelines on packaging from
Packaging,
right? Yeah,
packaging of what? What kind of material is this?
any product. I mean, there is any for labeling or something like some
Yes, yes,
guidelines
yes,
for
yes. In my next slide, there is a clear cut, clear cut. So these are the which you require. I think you're looking for this thing.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm looking
So, so 2.2.2 is clear cut mandatory guideline which they have given.
for.
So agriculture, for agriculture category, there is no product labeling is required actually, except the name and the other things, the location where you have procured. But ideally, I would suggest that if it is, I mean, raw material from agriculture, direct from agriculture background, so there should be some intermediate things. Like, for example, just for traceability, like suppose if you are procuring something from, directly from the market, from the, agri areas. So if they cannot give it, they are not good enough to provide the batch number, the area the things which is required. So what you can do, you can, before transferring it to the your factory or your premise, just go for the entire checking, QC checking, whatever is done, sampling and all that, and give one internal documentation purpose, one batch code, one thing which is, which is much required just for your traceability. Because many times, like what I've seen, like people procuring grains from other areas. So, like on the basis of their moisture content, they are giving to the lot number and whatever they are, issuing basis that there are some, people lot number they are giving on the basis of moisture, basis of, bulk density. There are so many things, other things as well. So basis they are your product. So whatever is applicable, just give it one internal batch code system. Put one internal batch code system and make it documented. Whichever certification, whichever, process management system you're following, just document it, that we are procuring from the direct from the this farmers or mandi, something like that, and we are giving it to the as a internal things, internal batch code system, which we have discussed internally within the management only itself, and this is the process system now. So this is much viable, much applicable, acceptable across all. No one can, challenge you. So other than that, which you require, the name of food is required, list of ingredients, except for single ingredient. If it is single, then it is not required,
Hello.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
here is my question. In second, it has been mentioned as list of ingredients except for
Mhm.
single ingredient product. What does it
if it
mean?
is if it is single ingredient, like if we are within the bag, there's only single ingredient, like grain, like wheat, like flour, wheat flour is there, so there is no need of, putting all the ingredients or ingredients, right? So there is no requirement, there's no mandatory requirement, I would say. If it is wheat, then wheat, fine. If it is mixing of one, or I mean any other thing which is being added, then you have to mention it. Basis descending. I mean,
Okay.
whichever is the higher volume, we need to write it first and final. These are the basic instructions, list of, 12 requirements which they have given, which you need to follow. Declaration of regarding food additives, yes, we have to give it name and complete address of manufacturer, net quantity. One thing I think I missed. Can you just guess what is that? Anyone can guess it. If say, I'll give you one chocolate virtually.
Can you just repeat your question, please?
So what is missing in that? Out of 12 requirements, what's missing?
Is it
Which?
fake by any
Pardon?
chance?
Wait.
Material?
Net quantity
It
is
is the
given, na?
FSSA number.
Yes,
It is the
sir.
FSSA number.
Sir, I'll give you definite. I'll give you chocolate virtually. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So FSCCI license number is missed out, right? So FSCCI license number is very much required whether you are importer, whether you are marketer, whether you are manufacturer, whether you are relabeler, right? So it is required. It's not required in case of distribution transportation. Yes, it's not required in the label actually. So
The
this I'm
point
talking about label.
is also mandatory.
Which one?
Point 11.
Uh, which one, ma'am? Which one talking about?
11. Name and address of the importer.
Yes. It is required because if you are importing from Indonesia, then somebody has to take the responsibility of entire product. So then there is one label will automatically comes in with all those things details. So in case like if it calculate that first expiry first out, that in that manner, like we have to consider the manufacturing date, not rather date of import. So date of import doesn't any fulfill your criteria. So while keeping as a FIFO and maintaining the FIFO or FFO, rather
It's only
FFO.
for products.
It's for only product. The date of import is not relevant for us, so we need to be extra precautious like, while calculating this date of manufacturing and all that. We have to be precautious that FIFO, FEFO has to be maintained as per the expiry in manufacturing date. This
This is
is much more relevant
quite
actually
breaking.
because somebody has to take the challenge, had to take the responsibility of those aspects, those areas.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yes, please.
As you are saying, ki it is mandatory to mention name and address of importer, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, in my case, actually, we are importing albums from different locations,
Okay.
and that is in shell form.
Mm-hmm.
So we process that, and we sell actually almonds in
Mm-hmm.
local market, also in wholesale.
Ma'am,
So,
tell me one thing. I got your point. Tell me one thing
uh,
that then how you are maintaining traceability. Suppose like I have procured your product, like take, I buy your product, purchase your product from one of the retailer shop, right?
okay.
So somehow it has got certain complaint. So how will trace it out? Which I mean, obviously you have to go for back traceability. So how you will find out that which batch
The
or
thing is
which?
that when I'm receiving the container, I'm doing the, I mean, lab test we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And also we are generating one batch code for
Okay,
that certain
internally.
container which we are receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the location will be from different. So, how
Mm-hmm.
can I mention one importer's name?
So in that case, I would suggest maintain one record wherein it clearly says like while before blending or before mixing the different lots in one batch. So you should be clear on that like how much quantity you have procured from the different sources and how much you are blending into it. Which all things you are blending into one, making it one.
Huh.
Right. So you need to be extra precaution. You need to maintain those internally,
Okay.
right? But
Okay.
in case if you are sending it to the customer next to you, so
Huh.
in that manner you are the complete responsible person that for that.
Okay.
So you will be because your FSSI license number will be there. In
Okay.
that case, you will be responsible, no one else, because you are the
Okay.
processor. You are the relabeler rather. So
Understood.
relabeler has to take the responsibility.
Okay. Understood. Okay.
But internally you have to maintain because ultimately you have to trace it out which all batch comes from which
Very,
area. So in
I
that manner
understand.
you yes, right ma'am?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. So few processing preparation wherein like few areas where monitoring is required like time temperature in case like if we are handling this thing, cooling distribution and all that, handling transportation as we have already covered. I think yes, it's already covered. So this thing is very much important. So, I mean, only thing is that like while transportation, so we need to be, assess before that transporting the things to the next thing. Suppose if it is frozen, then we know that how much temperature is required from, across the chain, across the, during transportation. So we have some check measures, control measures should be there. So what kind of contamination took place? So assessment is very much required. Risk assessment I'm talking about. So it could be HACCP, HACCP, it could be TACCP, TACCP, threat assessment where it involves. It could be VACCP, like vulnerability of getting contaminated or maybe some fraud could may have take place. One scenario I would just discuss is related to this only. Like I have seen that what transporter or not transport exactly, sometimes food handlers, loader, basically labor, what they do, they just open the packet, open the carton, CBB carton, which normally having only one tape from top to bottom, and sometimes from one end to till end, second end. So just open it, make as much as possible, take it out all the packs whatever is required, and just seal it again with the help of sellotape, which is transparent in nature. So we have to take extra precautions while receiving the products, the quantity, the weight, and all that. Sometimes they just add some stone particle just to make up the weight. I mean, so many things are happening actually. So idea is that we should be alert enough to maintain all those aspects, because we don't want to lose our integrity, our increase complaint in front of customers. This is only scenario which we want to justify here, because ultimately if you are losing your customer, you're losing your integrity. So somehow it will also it will also impact your entire business, because ultimately what matters, because management will only ask like how much complaint you have received. Ultimately complaint is thing which matters a lot in front of customer, because I mean company or manufacturing or MD, maybe CEO, they only ask about how much complaint you have received, how much is it all, what type of complaint you are receiving. So basis that you are making your HACCP plan, HACCP plan, TACCP plan, risk assessment you are conducting. I mean, I would say like basis that only you are designing your team. So how much team member is required to controlling those aspects, right? So before making any annual budget, make sure that what are the major concern, what is your flow chart, how much manpower, how much IT embedded things required at your which area, where it is cameras required, wherever is lock and keys required, wherever whatever things is required, just make sure that all should cover under that, right? So food packaging, adequate packaging material, labeling as per the FSCC, only food grade material like aluminum, plastic, tin. Okay, non-toxic gases. If you are infusing, if you are using, adding, any gases in within the pack, it should be highlighted. It should be labeled. It should be given over there, like that. You are best before declaration is much more important, relevant for the processing relabeler. So this is the way like how we can go on that. Okay, this is the clear-cut example like how we are dealing with, I mean, manufacturer name and complete. So ideally it is required. It's not
Can we
mandatory, but
just
it
go back?
yes.
Before this,
Okay.
just a minute.
So you are taking picture.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'll drop my contact number if you want. We can, I mean, discuss further. No issue, not at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No
Yeah,
problem.
fine,
Thank you.
fine, fine, no problem. So this is the requirement for if you are going for bulk packaging. So these
Okay.
are the I mean one this gunny bag should like look like this, right? So okay, fine.
Hello.
So they have given everything.
I have one question.
Yes, please, please, please.
Yeah, suppose we want some noodles from
Hmm.
through job work.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's compulsory FASI number of
Yes, 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 yes. Processor and in that case, you are the marketer, right? You will become a
okay.
marketer, or maybe you will become relabeler. Suppose if
Yeah.
you are procuring any noodles in a, I mean, in a unlabeled or unbranded manner, right? And again,
Okay.
you are not processing. Again, you are repacking it. So you will become repacker in that case. You will relabeler rather. because labeling
There
is
our FSI number is mentioned there, but
is it
now
will it will also be come over the packet label, and who is the who is the person who is making it for you also will come under that.
okay, it's
Yeah, there
compulsory.
are, sorry.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. Acha, there is different guidelines for retail pack and wholesale pack.
Correct, correct,
Acha,
correct.
now which you are showing, this is for wholesale pack, right?
This is for wholesale, correct.
Okay.
This is wholesale, and previous one was like for retail pack. And there is
Okay.
another pack called like wherein it's again retail. Like you must have seen that one one LDP bag which consists of n number of packets, 10, 20, 30 biscuit packs sometimes like other cookies and something like that. So it also comes
Okay.
under the retailer pack. Sometimes a wholesaler. We call as a retailer or wholesale sometimes, depending
Okay.
upon that which organization you are dealing with. So these are of the basic areas like which required food distribution service, appropriate supply, minimize spillage, like how we can reduce. Basically, like we have used this container, so we can find out that how we can approach those non-toxic, clean, well-maintained food containers during transportation would be required, because many of times I have personally seen like I was in one of the meat this thing meat processing. So so we were procuring the meat from outside, so it was pathetic actually. Slowly we have changed and gone into detail. Sometimes what happens, like we cannot say no to any supplier if required. If we can go and see that facility, they want to accept the challenge, and they want to improve themselves. But yeah, they want business. So our intention should be like that. We should improve them as well. That is what, like now thing has been changed. Now it is not vendor selection, it is vendor development. Rather, we call as a vendor development. We just find out the vendor which is good resource maybe, and we develop them according to our use. So it is a good practice actually, just which we are following right now. Dedicated vehicle for food transportation. Yes, as sir has mentioned, temperature and humidity control during transportation. Yes, it is required, much required. Effective cleaning and sanitation of vehicle between loads carrying high risk food as fish, meat, quality to avoid cross contamination. This is the every time scenario, and most important things is like if somebody is monitoring from your end, I mean your side, then somebody one has to be there for verification activity. One is checking, one is verification, which is very much important, because standalone single person cannot take the every opportunity. He may be wrong somewhere, but he's doing his job is at his own basis their knowledge. But somebody has to check, I mean, who's top on that, and at least once in a week, once in a fortnightly, you can check, verify entire this thing whether he's doing or she's doing their job correctly or not, as per the statement or as per the SOP. Because normally what happens, like state as SOPs are being prepared for us to showcase, us to you know showcase that to the certification agency or some clients. It's not giving it to the downline just to read and do it like this, follow the process. So it happens. So what I would suggest, make uh, this display board or boards sort of in Hindi, English, whatever is the language is preferably, and make some pictorial view just to give the brief or for their knowledge. So that would be actually much appreciated, actually much will be appreciated in front of your peer groups. Transportation inspection of transportation cleanliness, it has to be maintained, checked. Temperature, as we discussed, this is the one good thing which like this thing actually is a real picture which I have taken. So I was one of the retail, so I told you that I was one of the retailer I was working with there. So this is a normal practice which I have adopted from one of the vehicle who is transporting the things. This curtain, this plastic PVC curtain, which I have adopted, and it really works actually. It gives you control environment within that vehicle, even if you are opening that vehicle from outside. So it's a good thing actually. Storing storage, different racks, containers, like it differentiate what all things are kept inside. So it will differentiate your things. Management supervision, as I discussed, like verification part is very much important. Who is checking and who is verifying is very important. And updation of the processes, if something comes into the picture and some guidelines has changed, so one person has to be there or somebody has to be there to update. some maybe consultant or something like that, who can update the processes, who can update and guide them that this has been changed. Okay, the revision has took place. So like that we can update the things to the downline. SOP has to be developed for proper management, technical manager, supervisor with the appropriate qualification. So one terminology which is very common, that is FSTL, Food Safety Team Leader, or maybe sometimes we call as a Food Safety Management Representative, or sometimes we call as a MR, Management Representative. So in case of food handling, there is one criteria which is being allotted, which is being given to them. That person has should have basic knowledge of HACCP, HACCP. Basic means as a 2 days program. If in case of food safety, if we'll talk about, okay, he should have basic knowledge of contaminants. He should have basic knowledge of, or she should have basic knowledge of, you know, the risk assessment. How we'll identify, how to prepare a flow chart, how to categorize the risk flow management, right? Who will do what should be the qualification, who will participate? Because see, uh, quality people cannot be champion on every aspect. So that is what food safety team leader is to manage, is to guide, is to notify, is to update the things. Rest part will be taken care by the other management personnel, because in food premises there are other areas like for which we are working as a QA. Like in case of person who is into purchase, so one person should be part of team, one person should be from a purchase team, one person should be from who is handling transportation part, one person should be from who is handling housekeeping part, maybe HR, one person should be from SR, as we discussed HR, because man handling is much important, one person should be from maintenance. So there are multidisciplinary team should be there. Means multidisciplinary team would be there. They will give you exact scenario, they will tell you what is what is good or bad, what is a thing which you incorporate, what is the those thing which may hit directly to your product, because they know they are the champion, they are the experience holder, they know the best. They are not knowing the hazard part, they are not knowing the food safety part, but they are knowing their own part. Ultimately, for whom we are planning hazard, for whom we are planning food safety, these are the areas wherein we are controlling the factors and managing the show. So whenever possible, wherever it is possible, make one team, one group of people who can sit together at least once in a month, just to discuss, just to lay down all the process, find out the solutions, way outs. Or sometimes it happens like we are, I've seen that many of times we are doing many things which is not required, because we are not having direct communication with that guy, with that department. So still we are doing just for the sake of doing that. Okay, no one is doing, let's start. So one person cannot challenge, one person cannot do each and every aspect. It's a joint activity. Management to ensure that some annual or some monthly meetings happening, something is point is digging out, some action plans, some control measures are being prepared, some monitoring system is being prepared. So these are the things which required, I mean, wherein like management is required. Management. Acha, one thing like where management action is required, then budget part. If we are planning for some budget, so start planning in the beginning of year, like suppose we are working on April till March, so start planning from January onwards. So start planning, like capturing things like, if you're not satisfied with the pest controller, then start chasing with the good pest control agency, cost negotiation, transportation system, everything will come automatically. So start one by one, taking one by one activities, and discuss within the group of food safety, this HACCP team, I would say multidisciplinary team. So they will incorporate few things. Even if it is, if you're talking about small grease part, which is a food grade. So which are the sources? What type of documentation is required? MSDS is required or not? So we should go into deeper and deeper. Find out what are solution. It will give you the basic knowledge of what is required, what is not. Just like I have discussed one of the maintenance guy for regarding this uh, glass shielding. So I asked him like, what is the guideline? So he has given like no one guideline is given. Okay, it's fine. I discussed like, okay, what are the challenges you are facing? Okay, fine. He gives us like shatterproof or something like that. He has given briefing. So I just find out in the internet and find out all those what are the guidelines which you have given. So I didn't find anything. So that is what I was discussing morning itself. So I mean, my point is like management should have an important point, important.
Hello.
Yeah. So okay, just a minute, just a minute, just a minute.
दो लंच हो गया था
So team, yeah, okay. So am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So from 7 till 12 we'll cover in second phase. I mean we'll break for lunch here. So if you allow me, hope I mean whatever we have discussed, it's covered, it's understood by you people. So anything is left over, we'll discuss in second phase, right?
Okay.
So okay, so we'll start at 2:15, right? 1:15 is right now, so we'll have a break of 1 hour now. So we'll start at 2:15 sharp, right?
Okay.
Fine.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
ऐसे हट जाए अब 1 घंटे का ब्रेक है ना दोबारा हो जाएगा